into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune to my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh. Good morning.
Morning. It is Tuesday.
It is. The week has jumped off to a fantastic start. Had a great day yesterday. Today is going to be even better. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's going to be 3 hours of fun, a little bit of craziness, and of course, a lot of positivity. And this morning, we are keeping our finger on the pulse from catching up with the South African water polo player, Lwazi Madi, after competing in what must have been the most challenging, I think, tournament to date for them at the Tokyo Olympic Games. And then we're going to be connecting with a Turkish student as well, Efe Aguri, about the ongoing fires in Turkey.
That's right. It was in the news yesterday.
Wow,
it's quite scary what's going on there. There are about 100 separate fires, but of course we'll wait for Efe to give us that update. And then it is also quite evident now more than ever that, you know, we have become a global nation.
Yeah,
thanks
we're
to that.
a global
and
village.
I love that we get to connect with everyone. And then we're also going to find out what happened in Gauteng and why multiple tremors were felt this past weekend.
Crazy. Just imagine. I always think of the scene from like Jurassic Park where the coffee cup goes like, you know, you just see that tremor, but it would have freaked a lot of people out, so we're going to get to the bottom of that. And then finally, for all those who have gone for their vaccine shots, well done.
I got mine yesterday.
Well done indeed. To put your mind at ease, we're going to be joined by infectious diseases specialist, HIV clinician and good friend on our show, who really has been a resource for us. Dr. Emil Reid is going to chat about any possible side effects, what is normal and what we need to know, in the hope that as many people as possible, now that that net has been really wide open now, let's get in, let's get vaccinated, let's move on. I know someone else who was as, I think, relieved as I was to get the jab, is looking resplendent this morning. I saw him doing his hair in the car just before getting out here. Spectacular. Good morning, sir.
You just call me resplendent. That's the best thing you can call me ever. Thank you so much. Yes, as mentioned, Dr. Emil Reid is always here for a bit of calm and a bit of information that you require. But I'd like to find out if you got your COVID-19 vaccine, what was the experience like? I mean, I'm sure that you had an entire story around it. I know personally, I actually met the most amazing nurse when I got my vaccine, and we just got chatting about everything but the vaccine, which is really calming and really great. And I think when I walked out of there, I actually felt like I was doing some really great work for the people around me, you know, protecting them, making them feel good. So I think from your side, whatever that may be, remember sometimes even your experience could lead on to a question for Dr. Emil Reid. So just make sure that you send us those messages via Expresso's Facebook page and tell me exactly what your experience was around the COVID-19 vaccine. And as mentioned a little earlier, we will have the doctor in just to make sure that all your questions are answered. So don't worry, you're with your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We'll keep you informed and talking about that information that you require. Here's the news. Zoe is standing by.
Thank you, Wasty. I'll start with national headlines. The National Health Department yesterday said it should be able to reach its daily vaccination target of 300,000 inoculations soon. While vaccine supplies outstripped demand last week, an increase of millions of vials have entered the pipeline. Additional Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson doses are underway to the country's 3,000 sites. The department's Dr. Nicholas Crisp said all the provinces have indicated that they need more capacity to administer vaccines. He said he couldn't see why the vaccination sites would not be expanded by next week. And meanwhile, the United States government says there are no strings attached to its recent donation of millions of Pfizer vaccines to South Africa. The U.S. Under-Secretary of State for Political Affairs, Victoria Nuland, visited the facility in Johannesburg housing the vaccines donated by the U.S. to the country yesterday and said that this donation would strengthen the existing health partnership with SA. On Sunday, the acting Minister of Health, Maloko Kubai, took ownership of a consignment of 2.8 million Pfizer vaccine doses at OR Tambo International Airport. And moving to news abroad, the United States have given Nigeria 4 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine as the West African nation steps up efforts to battle the third wave of infections. The doses were received by officials of the UN Children Agency UNICEF on behalf of Nigeria at Abuja Airport. It was the second batch of vaccines to arrive in Africa's most populous nation after 4 million doses were delivered in March under the COVAX scheme. And then staying with news abroad, a 100-year-old alleged former guard of a Nazi concentration camp will stand trial in Germany accused of complicity in 3,518 murders. The unnamed suspect is accused of assisting in the murder of prisoners at the Sachsenhausen camp near Berlin between 1942 and 1945. Prosecutors yesterday confirmed the man would be fit to stand trial in October. German media says the trial is expected to be one of the last relating to crimes committed during the Nazi era. And next, Tom Daley's knitting his way through the Tokyo Olympics. If competitive diving doesn't work out, British Olympic diver Tom Daley can always pursue a career in a knitwear designer. In a viral picture of him knitting in the stands at the women's 3-meter springboard final on Sunday, the gold medalist has his eyes on the wall and not the water. Daley, fresh from winning his first ever Olympic gold in the men's synchronized 10-meter platform, caused a stir online, with many viewers keen to know exactly what the purple creation was that he was feverishly knitting away at. Daley said knitting had become his way of finding calm, mindfulness, and relief of stress. And he even has a separate knitting account called Made with Love by Tom Daley, where he posts his creations, including doggy jumpers that he sells to raise money for charity. Well, that's where I leave your morning headlines for now. Let's take a first look at your sport. Here's Graham.
Well, we wrap our heads around an Olympic doggy jumper. Let's get into the actual Olympics news. And sadly, not the best news from a South African perspective, as Wade van Niekerk will not be defending his 400-meter title at the Olympic Games. That was after being eliminated from the semi-finals yesterday. The 29-year-old finished in 5th place with a time of 45.14 seconds. Fellow South African Wenda Nel also failed to reach the final in her 400-meter hurdle event. She finished 7th in her semi, clocking a time of 56.35 seconds. And staying at the Olympics, the second-half penalty by Jessie Fleming guided Canada to a stunning 1-0 win over 4-time Olympic champions, the United States, at the Tokyo Games. So the victory takes Canada into the women's football gold medal match for the first time. That's where they'll face off against a high-riding Swedish team on Friday. America will take on Australia in the bronze medal match, and that's on Thursday. And then finally, on to rugby news. Springbok head coach Jacques Nienaber has named 3 exciting new additions to the national squad as the Boks continue preparations for that decider against the British and Irish Lions on Saturday. Loose forward Dan du Preez, wing Roscoe Speckman, and hooker Johan Grobbelaar have all been called up to join the Springboks in Cape Town. That third and final deciding test between South Africa and the British and Irish Lions will kick off again at 6 p.m. and again at the Cape Town Stadium on Saturday. More on those stories in about an hour or so. Right now, let's catch up on some global weather, the crazy weather that it's been in late, and of course get an update on our local temperatures.
Let's do that. Thanks a lot, G. And let's start off with some weather news from across the world. The wildfires in Turkey and Greece, which broke out last week, have been fueled by strong winds and scorching temperatures since yesterday. Athens is expected to reach a temperature of 42 degrees Celsius today. This southern European heat wave, fed by hot air from North Africa, has also gripped other parts of the Mediterranean in recent days. Scientists say the wildfires are linked with extreme temperatures, a longer drought period, a low level of humidity, and high wind speeds. And all of these can be linked to, yes, you guessed it, climate change. They warn that both the frequency and intensity of wildfires will intensify in future. Meanwhile, as Turkey is ravaged by these unprecedented forest fires, support teams from Spain, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Azerbaijan, and Croatia have been deployed to assist firefighters. The 24/7 EU civil protection mechanism has also been activated and is closely monitoring the situation to channel the EU assistance. Now, we can't forget about our international viewers tuned in on the Africa channel as well as YouTube, and shortly we are going to be journeying to Uganda. So we thought we should share a little bit more about the capital city as well as the largest city in Uganda, Kampala. Now, Kampala has a tropical rainforest climate with 2 annual wet seasons and does not have a true dry season month. Today, the city is set to be partly cloudy, reaching a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. Plan ahead because there are a few showers expected this afternoon. Now, thank you to all of our viewers who regularly share some sunrise photos. I love this part of the show. And this morning, we start off with Alka Bonstein from Villiersdorp, who shared this gorgeous sky filled with hues of blue and pinks. And then Karen Somerville from Oslo Beach in KZN shared this stunning view overlooking the ocean as the sun rises over the horizon, casting a beautiful burnt orange across the sky. Thanks a lot for sharing. And of course, these sunrise segments would be nothing without you, the valued viewer. So please don't head on to the Expresso Facebook page if you have any sunrise photos to share with us. We'd love to see you and, of course, your photo here next time. As we take a look at some of the temperatures to give you a plan as to what to wear today across South Africa. Polokwane, let's start with you. As always, 6 is your minimum to a maximum of 19 degrees Celsius. Bombela, good morning to you. 10 is your low to a high of 24. Pretoria, 7 to 20 today. Johannesburg, you are 6 this morning. You rise steadily to 18 degrees Celsius later. Mahikeng, 6 to 22. Klerksdorp, 4 is the minimum to a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius. Kimberley looking clear, 7 this morning, and that's up to 24. Bloemfontein, 0 is where you start. You will be up to 22. Richards Bay, 15 to 23. You can expect around 25% chance of precipitation in your area. Pietermaritzburg, 9 to 26 for you. Durban, 15 to 24. Mthatha, 6 is your low to a high of 27 degrees Celsius. East London, 15 to 25. Cradock, 3 to 27. Gqeberha, 11, and you go up to 27 degrees Celsius. George, 9 to 25, nice and warm in your area. Cape Town, 11 to 20. Worcester, 4 to 25, also looking nice and warm. Sutherland, 4 to 19. And Uppington wrapping with you as always. A nice warm day later, 11 the minimum to a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. That's a wrap up of the temperatures as well as the weather news. I'll be waiting for your sunrise photos on the Expresso Facebook page.
Oh, well, I'm really enjoying this time of the morning where we really get to be part of something incredible. Cadbury Dairy Milk, they are on a mission to improve literacy in South Africa, driven by the fact that only 2% of books published in our country are in African languages. And they are inviting you to help address this problem one word at a time.
Yep, you get to be part of a collective. You get to become an author yourself. So we want you to join us this morning and play your part by translating and learning a new word to co-author that children's library full of African language storybooks. We've had some fantastic words, all of them kind of conjuring something in the imagination. This one, I suppose, stands to reason. You've got to have a good, strong child character in a children's story, and that's the word that we are going to be translating this morning is children. And the chosen language that we are working with in this week is Indabele. So children in Indabele is Abantwana.
Abantwana.
Abantwana. That is children. Maybe they're going to be the star of the story that you're going to help co-author this morning. We want you to help to ensure that all children can enjoy enchanting African language tales in their own language with characters that they can identify with.
That's right. So visit cadbury.co.za and at Cadbury Dairy Milk SA on Facebook, or you can catch them at Cadbury_SA on Twitter and Instagram to start sharing your words.
Promise to the planet to be gentle and treat nature with kindness. So there's always trees to climb, to plant the seeds for a better future. Woolworths, the difference.
Welcome back. You are live on your Feel Good Kickstart of the day. I haven't quite kickstarted my day yet. I need to elevate my look. I'm feeling comfy. I just need to raise the stakes just a little bit, and we've learned that it's all about layering in winter. Love the hues, love the muted pink, love the pastels for winter. Loving the comfort factor of this crewneck tee made with sustainably sourced and produced cotton with the Stay New technology, so it stays looking newer for longer. That's great. It's just so beautiful and comfy, but I need to dress it up a little bit because I'm on national TV. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with this beautiful, with a similar sort of pink hue, this cotton poplin shirt, just to raise the stakes just a little bit. It's a lovely texture, it's a lovely look and feel, it's light, and I think that just ups the game. Just what I need for this Tuesday morning. And of course, if you're wanting to up your game, you can get the widest range of cotton tees and beautiful cotton shirts to dress up or dress down. You can find them in Woolies stores, you can find them online, or you can find them using the amazing Woolies app. And I would suggest you get in store now because the 50% sale is still raging on. There are some amazing buys, especially for the kiddies, but I'm loving my eventual outcome this morning. You can let me know on our social media platforms what you think of this and our Woolies style for the day.
Oh, well, listen, with many of our musical guests and greats that we have on the show, we have to introduce you to a young man, only 22 years old, Craig Jordaan, who is a singer and songwriter from Elsie's River, and that is here in Cape Town. And he's found his voice while singing in church. And his first performance for an audience was when he sang, listen to this, Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All in grade 4. And since then, music and performing has become the greatest love of his life and the greatest of all. And he's joining us this morning in studio so that we can get to know him a little bit better on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, how are you?
You know what, I'm very good. I can't believe at the age of 4 you already knew that this is something you wanted to do.
Yeah, I feel like as a kid, there's something deep down that you know that one day I want to be a singer, and in other cases you would say one day I would be a soccer player or whatever. So deep down you know, and some of our parents, but unfortunately I have one of the luckier family members that they encouraged me to do singing. And as a kid, I knew I want to be a singer, and they pushed me to be a singer, and I'm still a singer. So there's nothing else that I can do but doing singing.
Yeah, you know that Craig comes from like a fraternity of like singers. So this is the Elsie's River High School singers that, you know, there's a contingent of there, like I'm talking about Rolene comes from there, Craig Lucas comes from there, I'm just saying. So he comes from a factory of singers, and they just churn out talent, and sometimes these talents, they actually get churned out and they get thrown into these reality TV shows, and next thing you know, you're singing and people are like, you're amazing. So you had that experience, okay? Yes, you just thought, you know, these idle hands, I must actually do something. And then you did something.
I did.
Turns out that this was actually really key for your career. How did that impact your trajectory in the industry?
You know, as a Cape Town artist, like I started doing backing vocals as well. I was a lead singer for the band, and this actually took me to another platform where I can say I'm an artist on my own. Yes. Where Craig Jordaan, the singer / artist, is now stepping out into my scenery, my world of being different compared to other people or other singers. Yeah. So that platform actually created a lot for me. Personally, it made me a better performer, definitely a better performer, and I have this confidence that I never had before. Like, I had confidence, but now it's on an extreme level because, I mean, like, being on national TV, you are exposed to so many people, and that pushed me. So now I'm like, I can do whatever I want to do. I'm comfortable in doing it, so why not? So confidence, that was a big push.
How do you find, I mean, I find a lot of artists, they often get their confidence from the energy from the crowd, but given the fact that over the last 18 months, we have not been able to really get that crowd together, a lot of things have been virtually. How have you managed to, you know, just keep that energy going for yourself?
You know, being at home, you are in a space, your quiet space, you create so many things. Like, I find myself writing songs. I post videos online. So by the reactions of the videos and the people commenting on my stuff, that pushed me still, because then I know I still have a support system. I did a few shows in this year and in last year. And I was amazed by the support that came out because, I mean, like, we're in a difficult time, but yet people show interest in coming to your shows. So to me, that was something that I actually thought, okay, cool, you are doing something good. So why not continue doing it? And people love, like, I love the people and they're good. And Facebook still tells me, TikTok, you know, today's TikTok, people love, and the reactions that I get there is amazing. So during this time, I also thought that being at home is also something good because you better yourself, you develop something different that you didn't know you had. So yeah, that's how I coped, and that's my energy still.
You're constantly improving, and I can tell you that because you've grown up in front of my eyes.
Yes,
man.
definitely.
Yes, we were part of this high school jam thing, and I mean, Craig has always been that person that I knew you'd hit the stage and be on a national TV show like Expresso. Well done, it's here. But here's another thing, is that you actually studied vocal performance.
Yes.
And that tells me that you constantly and continually try to improve yourself.
Definitely.
Has this started you on a journey? Is there a project that's coming up soon that has been fueled by your studies?
Definitely.
Okay.
I have a lot of songs that's in the archives. Not really in the archives, but I'm just waiting for the right time to release it. So this year, or later in this year, I'm planning to release a single.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
This is good.
That is exciting.
Can't wait, man.
And I know, and we have I believe it's your birthday tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. 23.
Yo, you're so old. 23. Yeah. How's your back?
I saw...
Have you registered? No.
What are the birthday celebrations?
Because it's really in a difficult time,
Yeah.
so I'm just having a private family dinner, and that's what I'm going to do. There's nothing big. We can't do anything big, but we're having a small private family.
What do you mean anything big? You're performing on your Feel Good Breakfast show. This is the celebration.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well, we'll make sure it's special for you, and we're happy that you're here joining us today. Of course, we cannot wait to hear you perform. So, of course, we have a lot coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Don't miss it. Craig Jordaan on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Yeah, in for a very special treat this morning, so let's make the man a coffee. Nah, let's make me a coffee, and then we'll make someone else after that. It is a hashtag Travel Tuesday, and we're off to Uganda this morning, a country known for its obviously spectacular natural wonders, its lakes, dense jungles, picturesque mountains. I mean, just look at that. The most well-known, obviously, Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake, in fact, as well as the famous mountain gorilla sanctuaries that have been very well publicized. And for centuries, the altitude and fertile soil of Uganda's Rwenzori Mountains provided the ideal coffee farming conditions. However, until recently, aging trees, poor cultivation made it obviously a lot worse by drought, and climate change resulted in poor harvests, which have diminished the country's coffee production. Well, enter Expresso with their AAA sustainability program, and they have changed all that. So coming out, we are going to make a beautiful coffee this morning. I have been loving the Reviving Origins set for me, and I'm hoping Uganda's going to knock Congo off the top of that pedestal, but absolutely delicious coffee. So I'm going to make you one straight
Should we do, what is best with this? A lungo,
you can have a lungo
espresso?
or an espresso. So it's up to you.
Let's go for espresso. Let's go nice and strong.
Are we on?
We are on. There we go.
And this is a great one. It's very well balanced. So it's got a split roast. So some of it's dark for that flavor intensity. Some of it's light to medium roast for that fruitiness. So I'm expecting a very well balanced, a delicious coffee. And I love what goes into the sustainability program there. The Reviving Origins Ama Awe Uganda, which translates to the Hope of Uganda, limited edition coffee. Nespresso is helping to revive the exquisite coffee culture and the coffee itself that's produced in this region, and help farmers and their families and the coffee farming communities in the region to thrive as well.
Listen,
Take it
this
in,
smells
have a little
incredible.
bit of a smell.
Can we make one for you?
Definitely.
Do you want a lungo or an
give me an
espresso?
espresso as well. Let's get full flavor value. I think that's always I prefer to do that when you're tasting a coffee for the first time. Firstly, to have a look at the crema, the head, which looks great, and
I'm getting some berry tones coming through on this, but it's very nice. It's got a full body flavor. I really, really love this one.
nice, well balanced. So as I said, a split roast there, dark for balance and a bit more complexity, but the light to medium dark for that tropical fruit aroma. So you're right on the money. It's supposed to be rich, clean. It's got a beautiful crema. And this one you might pick up. I'm going to see if I can get it in the aromatic profile here. Rare sandalwood and elegant floral notes.
There we go. Can you get that? And I love that you can enjoy it as an espresso or a lungo, and the Reviving Origins is part of Nespresso's AAA sustainability program. Not just about coffee, it's all about creating livelihood opportunities in communities and revive traditional dried Uganda Arabica process.
In fact, since 2018, it's provided training to more than 2,000 farmers through this project. And 2020 provided savings and financial management tools and education to the communities. They deal in this idea of an ecosystem, not just in terms of the ecology itself, but in the entire community. If you're going to grow a plantation, grow a crop, you need to grow the forest around it, you need to grow the community, you need to grow the farmers. I love this AAA sustainability approach. The fact that they're going to hit carbon neutrality this year, that's just a cherry on the top. But this is...
It's amazing.
It's beautiful, eh?
Well, listen, this is our morning cup of coffee. We say cheers to you.
Oh, that's
every time you brew a cup of Reviving Origins coffee,
you're restoring land,
empowering farmers, and supporting livelihoods.
So every sip touches hundreds of lives.
And offers an inspiring taste experience in return.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
You are live here on S3, and it's Tuesday, which means a brand new episode of Skin Sessions, where we really get to delve deep into thought-provoking topics by encouraging brave conversations that are more than just skin deep. Now, this week we are unpacking modern masculinity. Now, get this, man up, boys will be boys, boys don't cry. Sounds familiar? Well, these are phrases many of us are so familiar with. However, these cliched ideas with layered meanings are being re-examined as society's understanding of masculinity changes, and it's by time.
Yeah, man, as it should. So because of toxic masculinity, which you would have heard bandied about quite a lot, and its unspoken expectations on men, there is this inability to be vulnerable, maybe, or to self-define what masculinity actually means, indeed what we need to retain in that concept. And while this change may be happening slowly, we need to discover what this means for men and boys being raised in today's society. So joining us today to discuss this topic are two men, actor Muzi Mtabela and our very own Ryle Demone. I think being a guest this time, it must be nerve-wracking enough. Is it weird?
It's weird, but I mean, being amidst guys like Muzi as well, I mean, it's just an absolute honor.
Thank you, thank you.
It's so great to connect with you for such a vitally important conversation. Obviously, I'm a boy mom, so it's good for me to also hear your opinions with regard to this. I mean, let's be honest, let's be real for a second. From the car you drive to the job you have, the clothes you wear, and even where you live, social status is often linked to material possessions. It's the reality that we're living in right now. But how has this pressure impacted you, and how can we move, and I say we as a collective, as people, move to a more valued-based approach?
I think for me, what's important is self-discovery first, in order not to find yourself under unnecessary pressure. I've got my life to live, you've got your life to live, everybody else has got their lives to live. If I were to live my life according to the expectations of other people, then I'd have to find myself under pressure, to buy things that I can't afford to impress people who probably don't even like me. So for me, self-discovery, to know who I am, is very important.
No, that definitely rings true. And I think often, you know, maybe it's an industry thing where people expect you to live up to a particular status, especially with the car and things like that. But it's something that you don't necessarily have to live in. And Rahul, I'm going to put this to you because I think one of the things that connected you and I was this, we both kind of have this drive to really empower the people around us. And when it comes to woman empowerment, that's got to be one of the pillars within your relationship. You've got to be able to find a way to keep yourself and your own sense of self, but also empower the woman you're sharing your life with. Why is this important to you, first of all? And how do you achieve this? Are you getting it right?
I think a brilliant question, Gian. I think that the entire conversation is something that needs to change, and the narrative behind it. Because even for me, growing up, seeing women as these just absolutely beautiful creatures and wanting to know how to engage with them, how to talk to them, how do I eventually get to a point where I'm like Muzi, who has a beautiful family and relationship, and that's quite intimidating. You generally then ask the question and ask your friends, how do you get involved in women, or how do I speak to them or approach them? And then starts this rules of, you need to do this, you have to do this.
You've got to have game, man. You've got to have game.
And then you get all these externals put into you, and there in that moment you stop becoming yourself. And I think that's where we already find this issue. And I love what Muzi says about first discover and understand yourself, so that you can then understand and discover those around you. And especially when it comes to women, the fact of not understanding them makes us try to create all these weird rules when it doesn't need to be that complex and complicated. It's just about opening yourself up and actually listening.
I'm smiling, and I'm sure so many other women are smiling as well. But please say this a bit louder for the boys at the back, because literally it takes a man to own up to this. I'll bring it back to you. You know, on the flip side, research demonstrates that men often face backlash when they show vulnerability, when they display empathy, express sadness, and proclaim to be feminists. I mean, this is troubling as it discourages men from shifting away from toxic masculinity. How then do you think we can turn this around, and in doing so, encourage a shift in thinking?
I love what the late Dr. Miles Monroe once said, that where purpose is not discovered, abuse is inevitable. We are living in very interesting times as men, where we have to define and redefine, where we have to think innovatively about what is the role of a man? Who are we? What is a man? And we also need to interrogate how things have been before. Sometimes we say our forefathers did things this way and that way, but we have to ask ourselves, was it all right in the beginning when things happened that way? So I think we live in an evolving world. What is my role? How can we be better men than our fathers? Does it mean changing a nappy for my daughters or for my son? Does it make me any less of a man? So these are all questions that we need to ask ourselves. What is the role of a man today? I think we need to come to a point as men where we redefine our role and realize that we are tough because we need to be protectors. A man needs to be a lover. A man needs to be a comforter. My children need to come to me knowing that if I come to my father, he's going to sort out every problem that I have. Instead of where I grew up, we used to say, Ubaba ibubesi, the father is a lion. When he comes into the house, all he does is he growls at the children, he growls, everybody runs away from him. But we have an opportunity, a very golden opportunity to redefine the role of a man. In fact, I feel that men that engage in gender-based violence, men that engage in trying to suppress and oppress women and children, it's because they themselves are feeling oppressed. Yeah. And the only way they can feel and show their strength is by putting somebody else down. So those are the old beliefs that we need to challenge and ask ourselves if were they always right the way our grandfathers did what they did. And also, particularly in the Black community, we shy away from psychologists, from seeing psychiatrists, because we feel like no other men don't need to know about the issues of my household. But if I'm drowning as a man, I need to reach out, because the truth is, some of us didn't grow up with father figures. The next thing, I get married and I'm expected to be a man, which is a creature that I've never seen before. So we need each other as men. We need to help one another.
I'm just going back to one thing that you said. Trust me, changing a nappy, you'll find out what kind of man you are when you get a particularly hectic nappy. That's my vibe. I feel it. I'm going to, feeding off what both of you have said here, but Muzi, very much from what you were saying about the frustration when the behavior becomes abusive, there is a frustration that is driving that, and that comes from a lack of knowledge of self and self-care. So maybe, Raul, I'll put that to you. What does self-care mean to you?
I think it's one of the most essential and overlooked things that we're doing, and especially in this day and age where we are dealing with so many stresses, so many obstacles, and the inevitability of ourselves getting shaken. And I really think self-care means really emptying everything out and filling up that cup with the good stuff. How are we able to help anyone else if we can't help ourselves? So I think firstly and more importantly is to come to an understanding of who we really are. Get rid of all these associative norms that have been placed on toxic masculinity and ask, what do you believe in? What do you feel? And what is it that you understand? And there's no issue with asking why. In this generation, I think we are a generation of dreamers and believers, and we're asking why because we can change that narrative. There's small things as well. Our daily rituals, taking cognizance of the power that we do have is quite important. I think even something as simple as looking after yourself from the aesthetic point of view.
Yeah.
Look good, feel good. So if I'm putting my moisturizer on in the morning, like I've got my Ingram session and lathering up, that's not only a physical but a spiritual process of just preparing, filling up with the good stuff so that in those inevitable moments that we get shaken or rocked, that good stuff comes up, and that's the stuff that helps us and gets us beyond that moment.
Goodness sake, moisturize, man.
Yeah, man.
We aren't there for ashy elbows and ashy knees. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I wish we had more time to speak to both of you. Muzi, you're amazing, and I think being in your position within the industry, you talk about so many men not having those mentors or those father figures. You are becoming that in a very broad sense for a lot of young men and creating that conversation. So thank you so much. We applaud you for doing that, man. What a pleasure catching up with you this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, and he's a good-looking man.
Yes.
He's a good-looking man, eh?
Well,
Look
listen,
at that
of
smile.
course, you at home, you can join in on the Brave conversation and tell us what are some of the ways you have embraced modern masculinity. All you have to do is reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter or Instagram page, including the hashtag #YourSkinYourBrave, and you stand a chance to win a R1,000 voucher with Ingrams. And remember, those T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com. Do you want some?
Ralph, you were a great guest, man. What a great guest.
Thank you.
Really good guest.
Nourish your skin with Ingrams for Men, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. Ingrams, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, well, listen, when you practice yoga, it allows you to calm the mind, body, and soul, bringing relaxation to the entire body. Now, yoga promotes relaxing. It improves your circulation. It reduces stress and anxiety, but it also boosts your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and it promotes self-love. Now, I'm one of those individuals when it comes to yoga. I always say I need to do more, and then I never get to it. So I have mobile yoga teacher Tamlin Sullivan. She's joining us us this morning in studio to teach us a few yoga poses that will really boost your confidence and your self-esteem, as well as to continue celebrating Women's Month. Now, I've got my iPad here, and I don't know why it's in my hand, so I'm going to put it down over there, and we're going to invite Tamlin in. Come and join me, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Good morning.
Good morning, Zoe.
Very good to have you here.
Good to be here.
And you know what? Yoga is one of those things, every time I do it on the show, I say to myself, you know what? I need to do this more. I need to do this more. I need to do this more. And what do? I don't get to it, and there are really no excuses. So I'm looking forward to the routine you have planned out for us.
Sure.
I know we didn't do a run through, but I am happy to just follow your lead.
Absolutely, no need. Let's step to the front of our mat. So this is to step back. High mountain pose. Stand with your feet hip distance apart. Root through the feet. Pull up in your thighs. Notice your posture. Tuck the tail under. Bring your hands to your heart center in prayer. Lengthen the neck and just feel a rooting, grounding sensation from the feet all the way up to the crown of your head. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in as you reach your arms up above the head, opening the eyes. Find length. Swan dive, forward fold down. Separate the palms, hinge from the hips, and soften the knees as you fold forward. Soften the knees, plant the hands down, step back into a plank pose. Just really ground through the balls of your feet, press into your hands. Press to separate between the shoulder blades. Nice. Squeeze thighs, tail. Lengthen the neck looking forward. Take an inhale. Slowly come into a low plank. Nice. Chaturanga, up dog, untuck the toes. Inhale, puff the chest up, draw the shoulders down. Bring a beautiful smile to your face. Exhale, tuck the toes down. Find your child's pose as you sit back to the tail, separate your knees, untuck toes and soften the forehead down. Root through the fingertips, tenting them so you stretch out your upper back. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, slowly coming into a tabletop position onto your hands and knees. We come into tiger pose to tap into your inner tigress. Inhale, right hand reaches forward, left leg reaches back. Take a full breath in, feeling the power of the posture, and then bend your back leg. The knee comes 90 degrees, the foot faces up to the ceiling. Take a breath in. Reach for the back foot. You can look back to find your grip. If you don't reach it, just aim, kick back and gaze upwards. Press into the bottom hand. So you can just aim for it. Ultimately, there you've got it. Nice. Take a full inhale, look up to the sky. Opening the shoulder, pressing into your bottom hand. One more breath in here, you've got it. And slowly exhale back onto your hands and knees.
Balance is important.
Very.
And I find when you focus, you're able to stay in control of your core and be able to do that.
Absolutely.
That was quite a tricky one.
It's about tapping into your inner world as opposed to looking for external validation.
I like that.
So come onto your shins. We'll do a heart opening pose, which really sometimes allows you to feel vulnerable, but opens you up, you know? So you're gonna press into the lower back, draw the elbows together, take an inhale. Press the hips forward and begin to come into a little back bend, squeeze the tail, gaze upwards, make space in the heart. Draw the elbows back, keep squeezing the tail. Smile at this beautiful brand new day with a breath in. And slowly press back up, neutralize the spine. Reach your hands forward. Downward dog pose, spread the fingers, tuck the toes, reach your tail and hips up to the sky, soften the chest, and aim to reach the heels down. No need for them to touch. Beautiful, heels are touching. Stay for a breath in.
Thank you.
Exhale, reach the heels down. Inhale, your right leg reaches up high. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee comes to nose as you tuck the chin around the spine. And then step through between your hands. High crescent lunge. Root through the feet, bring your hands to your heart center in prayer. Find your grounding as you scissor the legs together. Stay for a breath in. Soften the shoulders back above the hips. Inhale, arms up alongside the ears. Warrior two, as you ground the back foot at 45 degrees, open the arms, gaze forward. Power posture, tap into your inner warrior. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, windmill hands over either side of the front foot. Swivel the back foot. Step forward. Step your back foot to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Soften the crown of the head down. Chair pose. Bend the knees. Knees just in line with the toes. Sweep the arms up. Sitting down low. So this is one of the postures that taps into your inner resilience. You want to sit back, being strong. Often people, thighs are shaking and burning. They're like, when is this going to end? Take an inhale. Forward fold down, let it go. And slowly tuck the knee, bend the knees, roll up as you tuck the chin, uncurl your spine, take a shoulder loop when you reach the top.
Oh, this is amazing. I know we only did the one half and we ran out of time, but I feel like we need to get into the second half when we're off camera just to feel a little bit balanced. But thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely welcome.
And what an incredible way to really just kickstart off yoga. Women's Month with a little bit of yoga, really finding that inner self-confidence, that inner self that is so important. And where can people get in touch with you?
My Insta handle is Cape Town Yoga Girl, or on Facebook, Yoga Cape Town.
There we go. Well, listen, make sure you find Cape Town Yoga Girl, and we're going to say a little bit of a namaste.
Namaste.
There we go. Well, after a little bit of a namaste, it's also yummy to just refresh with a little bit of carrot and orange crush. There we go. Can I offer you some?
Cheers.
Cheers, ladies. Now that we've reconnected with our inner warrior and we are so calm on set, let's tap into what it means to be an Olympian. South Africa's men's water polo team may have bowed out of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, but for many of these players, this has been an opportunity of a lifetime. Now, one such athlete who was living the dream in Tokyo is water polo player Lwazi Madi.
So with both teams, South Africa's men's and women's water polo teams making it to the global showpiece, this is an incredible opportunity to grow the sport in the country. And Lwazi, who is still in Japan, joins us via video chat just to chat to us about becoming an Olympian. Lwazi, good morning. For us.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good. Oh, very good, man. Great to be connecting with you this morning. An incredibly challenging time for you and the team in Tokyo at the at what has been, I think, an Olympic Games that we've all been looking forward to, savouring, because it just took so much to get there, and especially for your team, it took a huge amount to get there. Now that you are officially an Olympian, how does it feel? What has your experience of the Games been like?
It still feels surreal to me. Sorry, my voice is actually a little bit gone, shouting at all my teammates. But, yeah, it's actually like, it is surreal. We actually can't believe that we're here. I think yesterday was quite an emotional day for us as, I say, water polo, because, you know, we struggled throughout the tournament, and then yesterday I felt like we had our best game of the tournament in terms of our attack. And all the hard work we put in felt like it was showcased in that last game. So I think a lot of emotions are running high, and yeah, like the team is really happy and we're on a good vibe right now.
You know, when I looked at the game, you're right. I mean, it was the type of game that actually built up to that best performance of yours. I saw that there was a lot more physicality, especially dominating the whole two. I mean, you guys were pretty phenomenal with regard to the way you portrayed, you know, the South African water polo spirit. But you faced Japan. Yes, you may have lost that particular fixture, but I mean, take us through the game just from your analysis. I mean, you have the best view of the pool from your side. So what do you think panned out for you guys, and why was it your best performance?
I think a lot of guys were hungry for this game. We, in the beginning, we targeted this game to be our best game because technically from the perspective that we had, we saw that Japan is actually one of the games where, you know, we could actually play our style of water polo, and we knew that we had an advantage against them in terms of physicality. And I think, yeah, just the guys are really hungry and they wanted to make sure that we go out of our first Olympics with a big bang. So, yeah, a lot of guys, I think, was the motivation was a big thing for us.
Yeah, this is the first step towards hopefully many more, but it has highlighted the massive disparity between the resources and possibly those structures building up to a national team, and how that compares to what we've got with regards to the rest of the world. We've still got a long way to go, but a massive achievement to have both the men's and the women's water polo teams from South Africa at the Olympic Games. For those that haven't been close to the narrative, just how much of a big step forward was this for you guys to actually make it to the Olympics?
Yeah, it was honestly a massive step because, you know, when we found out that we were going, we wanted to make sure that we inspire future generations to pursue water polo, because I think there's a fairly big dropout after high school with water polo players, and there's quite a few good players to the system. So showing people that there is life after water polo in South Africa, and that, you know, there's people who are passionate and want to excel and want to progress. That just shows a lot, especially from these games, and a lot of people will definitely hopefully see what we've done and feel inspired, and yeah, just want to carry on with the sport, and that's what we were hoping for. I think in terms of the disparity that you were mentioning, I think it is tough because obviously this is our first game since, I think it was 1960 was the last time South Africa was in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And we honestly, like, you know, we knew we weren't gonna like come here and like, you know, look to win games, but we knew that we wanted to try be competitive and to literally, like I said earlier, just show the country that there is life after water polo, and that we can go to these big events and we can hopefully try and compete.
You know, you guys participated, and I think that's a powerful thing for the structures in the country. Yeah. A quick one from your side, Lwazi. If you were to look forward into the water polo future, what type of things would you like to see change in our systems to make sure that we put out a squad for the next games and beyond that would be a squad that is just kind of ready to go and ready to rumble? What type of things would you say? I mean, if you had a platform now, I'm sure the structures are listening to you now. How would you change the game to make sure that we are ready for the next games?
I think having a squad, like having a squad kind of set ours before obviously quite a while before the game starts, will be quite a big benefit for us. I think if we have a lot of players who kind of know and understand the game and like our structure of play before we get to the actual games, is a big help. Because we're currently obviously still learning how to play with each other, and a lot of these people who have so much experience have played with the same people for years and years and years. So for us, I think like if we had a big squad of players who potentially could make it, and we could train more regularly and meet up more regularly, would be already a massive difference, because our cohesion will just improve considerably if we had more time together. So I think that was our biggest problem, was we tried to have a national training camp just before we left, but then things in Joburg got quite intense with the coronavirus, and they obviously locked down that part of the province. So then we unfortunately had to cancel that because we were more worried about getting ourselves to Tokyo rather than risking it with the coronavirus.
So many challenges that might have seemed insurmountable, but you guys did it. You got there. You were competitive, and you have certainly had the nation enthralled with that fighting spirit. So we've got to say thank you so much. You've done water polo a massive, massive service through this process, and we really appreciate you taking the time. Now, hopefully you can just sit back and enjoy the magic of being in the Olympic Village. Lwazi, it's been so cool connecting with you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for the interview.
No problem, Lwazi. And of course, you know what? We can look forward to so many great games, better water polo, and of course something for you now, because we look forward to seeing Christopher Kosa compete in the rock climbing at 10. And we caught up with him prior to the Olympics on the Insider Essay, and this is what he had to say about competing.
It's a technique-based game. You got to really love it. You got to put your time and your heart into improving yourself. So you got to do it for the right reasons, and if you're doing it like that, it's easy to improve. The climbing community is a wonderful thing. Everybody is super friendly, super open. I've met some of the best people of all ages, ranging from 60 plus to teenagers. And everybody is just so motivated to really just test themselves and do something which we love. Climbing is essentially face value a super physical sport, but as it kind of progresses, it becomes quite a mental challenge. Often you're physically capable to do the boulder or do the route, but you just don't have the mental strength to continue pushing through a bit of failure and a bit of suffering. It's a huge honor to be representing South Africa at the Olympic Games. I'm very proud and excited to be doing it, but my big goal is just to really showcase climbing to South Africa and the African continent. So essentially that is my objective with the Olympics. Like, don't get me wrong, performance is a factor, but it's a developing sport and it needs as much help as it can get. And if I can just expose it to 1 million other kids, that's a job well done.
How fast are they? That is ridiculous.
That was what you call scaling a wall.
Scale it, my friend. That is awesome. And we send Christopher all our positive energy ahead of his competition, of course, at 10 o'clock this morning at the Tokyo Olympic Games. More reasons to be inspired.
Indeed. And, of course, lots more on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Don't worry, you don't need to climb. We got your back here on Expresso.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Why do I have goosebumps? That's the thing. Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. The goosebumps are coming from Craig Jordaan. He'll be performing for you a little later on the show, and you have to see it. Wow. In fact, the hoendervleis is still here. I'm going to try and rub it away.
And that was just the sound check, sounding absolutely phenomenal. Then, of course, we're also going to do a little bit of investigating. If you were absolutely shocked and surprised at the tremors that hit Joburg recently, we're going to get to the bottom, or the epicenter of that, if you will. But right now, let's bring you up to speed with those news and sporting headlines.
Thank you, Graham. Looking at your national headlines, the Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has said it was dealing with a rabies outbreak after 3 people, including a woman carrying a baby, were attacked by a honey badger in the Komdraai area last week. The honey badger was subsequently put down and taken to the Onderstepoort Veterinary Institute, where a positive diagnosis was made. The 3 human bite cases immediately received treatment. Pet owners have been urged to vaccinate their cats and dogs against rabies. And the National Health Department yesterday said it should be able to reach its daily vaccination target of 300,000 inoculations soon. While vaccine supplies outstripped demand last week, an increase of millions of vials have entered the pipeline. Additional Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson doses are underway to the country's 3,000 sites. The department's Dr. Nicolaus Crisp said all the provinces have indicated that they need more capacity to administer vaccines. He said he couldn't see why the vaccination sites would not be expanded by next week. And Poland's deputy foreign minister has confirmed that a Belarusian athlete, Kristina Tsimanouskaya, has been granted a humanitarian visa at their embassy in Tokyo. Her family would also be offered protection. The 24-year-old would have run in the 200 meters yesterday. She was reportedly forced to return to Belarus on Saturday after criticizing her country's sport officials on social media. She refused to board the plane in Tokyo and approached Japanese police for help. Her husband has reportedly fled Belarus and is in Ukraine's capital, Kiev. And Nigeria has received 4 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine from the United States as the West African nation steps up efforts to battle a third wave of infections. The doses were received by officials from the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, and that was on behalf of Nigeria at Abuja Airport. It was the second batch of vaccines to arrive in Africa's most populous nation after 4 million doses were delivered in March under the COVAX scheme. And next, some news from France that has the world cheering. A while ago, we reported that Huan, a giant panda on loan to France from China, was pregnant. Well, yesterday, she gave birth to female twin cubs at Beauval Zoo in the south of France. The cubs were described by the elated zoo staff as very lively, pink and plump, and in good health. Big Mama Huan, whose name means happy and joyous in Chinese, licked and cleaned the newborns after their arrival in a world in which they are classified as vulnerable because of the significant threat from humans. The World Wildlife Fund says not even 2,000 giant pandas roam wild in China. In efforts to boost their numbers along with geopolitical relations, China over the years has loaned giant pandas to other countries, including the US. Beauval Zoo said their births were a result of breeding efforts that began in March. The cubs are extremely tiny, weighing about 150 grams each. They will be named by the Chinese president's wife. Well, on that very happy note, that's where I leave your morning headlines for now. Let's get another look at your sport with Graham.
Thanks so much. So we start with Olympics this morning, and a bridge too far for our world record holder. South Africa's Wade van Niekerk will not be defending his 400-meter title at the Olympic Games. That was after being eliminated from the semi-finals yesterday. The 29-year-old finished in 5th place with a time of 45.14 seconds. Fellow South African Wendy Nell also failed to reach her final in her 400-meter hurdle event. She finished 7th in her semi-final, clocking a time of 56.35 seconds. Then on to football at the Olympics. The second-half penalty by Jessie Fleming guided Canada to a stunning 1-0 win over 4-time Olympic champions, the United States, at the Tokyo Games. So that victory takes Canada into the women's football gold medal match for the first time, where they will face Sweden on Friday. And America will take on Australia in the bronze medal match, and that's on Thursday. Then finally on to rugby. Springbok head coach Jacques Nienaber has named 3 new exciting additions to the national squad as the Boks continue preparations for their decider against the British and Irish Lions on Saturday. Loose forward Dan du Preez, wing Roscoe Speckman and hooker Johan Grobbelaar have all been called up to join the Springboks in Cape Town. That third and final deciding test match between South Africa and the British and Irish Lions will kick off again at 6 p.m. at the Cape Town Stadium this coming Saturday. Well, that's where we leave our sporting headlines for this hour. Let's get another update on the weather front and see what the temperatures have in store today.
Let's take a look at the weather news first, and not such good news. The death toll from torrential rains and floods in central Chinese province of Henan has sharply increased to 302 after 39 people were found dead underground car parks. Local officials said yesterday that at least 50 more are missing. The worst hit was the capital, Zhengzhou, where 292 people, including 14 trapped in a flooded subway carriage, lost their lives. Henan, a province with a population of some 109 million, was battered by the heaviest rainfall in decades in July, causing widespread floods, deaths and economic damage. Some 14 million people have been affected, and more 1.1 million local residents had to be relocated to safer places. China's cabinet announced an investigation into the floods at a media conference in the provincial capital, Zhengzhou. We have been following the fires that have been ravaging Turkey, and will be touching base with a Turkish student soon to give us a first-hand account of what the latest is on the ground. So for our 7 a.m. International City feature, we are briefing you on a certain part of Turkey called Ankara, the capital city of Turkey and Turkey's second largest city after Istanbul. The city is a modern European metropolis speckled with reminders of its varied history. Old castles and ruins are some historical sites to see, while the modern city includes government and state houses, major universities, and the oldest park in the city, Genglik Park. Today, the area can expect high temperatures to continue as the max will be a hot 37 degrees Celsius. Now, bringing it back to our local shores, we received our beautiful sunrise pictures, as we always do, and this gorgeous picture capturing a colourful sky as the sun rises over the ocean, and this was sent in by Hannes Bosman from Gordons Bay. Our viewers are on a roll this morning with all the stunning sunrise photos we have received. Maureen Ansel-Beneter from East London also shared a photo of the sun rising over the ocean, showing off the silhouetted trees against that orange sky in the background. Gorgeous. Our sunrise segments would be nothing without the viewers. That's you. So please go on and share those sunrise photos with us, as well as your location, and head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share it with us. You may just see your photo here next time. As we get on to some temperatures from across South Africa, and starting off with Polokwane, as always, 6 to 19. Bombela, you can expect 10 this morning, rising steadily to 24 degrees Celsius. Pretoria, 7 to 20. Johannesburg, 6 to 18 today. Mahikeng, you can expect 6 to 22. Klerksdorp, good morning to you, 4 to 23. Kimberley, 7 to 24 today. Bloemfontein, you start with just 0 this morning, quite chilly, but you are up to 22 in the afternoon. Richards Bay, 15 to 23, a 25% chance of rain in your area. Pietermaritzburg, 9 is your low to a high of 26. Durban, 15 to 24. Clear conditions in Mthatha, 6, and you're up to 27, so it looks very, very good there. East London, 15 to 25. Cradock also looking good at 27 as a max from a minimum of 3. Gqeberha, 11 to 27. George, 9 to 25. Cape Town, you can expect 11 this morning. You rise up to 20 later. Worcester, 4 to 25. Sutherland, 4 to 19. And Uppington wrapping with you, as always, 11, and you're up to 27 degrees Celsius. And that's it for your weather news, as well as your temperatures. If you have any sunrise photos, please send it my way. I know you are an artist when it comes to that phone of yours, so please send it to the Expresso Facebook page.
Let's go a little deeper beyond terra firma. Gauteng had quite the start to the weekend with a recent earth tremor felt in various parts of the province at a 3.5 magnitude on the Richter scale, as recorded by South Africa's Council for Geoscience, 4.2 by the United States Geological Survey. Now, Dr. Alistair Sloan, lecturer of structural geology and tectonics at UCT, joins us again on the show to tell us a little bit more. Doc, great to connect with you this morning. Hopefully you are very well. Always a bit of a strange thing because we just don't expect it here in South Africa, but not the strongest tremor in Gauteng's history. This one was 3.5 on the Richter scale. Have we felt a much stronger tremor in the past?
Yes, so recently the largest one would be in 2014. There was the Orkney earthquake. So it was actually just over the border into the northwest province, but it was felt very much in Gauteng as well. At a 5.5, that caused damage to some people's houses, to some dwelling places, and it actually killed one person due to a wall collapse. So in this general area, there have been quite a few tremors in the past. These clusters of seismicity, which tend to be around the areas of deep mining, which have been, well recorded since the 70s and even before.
Are tremors detected fairly often in Gauteng? How often do we get the tremors? And I would assume many go undetected or unnoticed by people, but how often does this happen?
I mean, it really is something which is very common. So it'll be dozens of times a year, probably even hundreds of times a year. But most of those are so small that people aren't going to be able to feel them without very sensitive instruments.
So what is the specific cause of these tremors? Does it sit on a fault line? What was at the heart of it?
So basically, there are certain things which people can do which cause earthquakes. So deep mining is something which is associated usually with relatively small earthquakes, small events. There are also natural earthquakes which occur even in these very stable areas, not as frequently, but over long periods of time. And the larger events in places like Gauteng, it's difficult to say 100% for sure whether or not it's triggered by mining or whether it could have happened anyway. It could have been a natural tectonic event.
How does
most of the earthquakes in the area are linked.
It's just breathing. It's just stretching itself as it does. But how does deep mining affect this specifically? How does that go on to cause a tremor?
So basically, when you remove material from deep in the earth, it changes the stresses in the area immediately around the mine. And usually that might lead to very small events occurring. So just the earth kind of adjusting itself to take into account the void which has been opened up in the mining. But sometimes if there's a pre-existing weakness, if there's a fault within the area, then it's possible something larger might be triggered.
Can Gauteng expect, you say it happens fairly often, how are we able to, can we predict these earthquakes, and how many are we expecting more in the near future? And is there an area in South Africa that gets more than the areas affected at the moment?
Sure, okay, so there would be questions there. So we could definitely expect some more in the near future. I mean, once you have an event, and this magnitude 3.5 or 4.2 event is large enough that it's going to change the stresses in the area around it again, and so you get other events, usually smaller, which we call aftershocks. And we've seen some of those already. So on Sunday, there were a number of smaller events in the same general vicinity. So we can definitely expect some more coming up. In terms of where else we get earthquakes in South Africa, most of the larger earthquakes which we find in the country actually have occurred in different parts of South Africa. So there's been a history of seismic events in the Western Cape in particular. So the Ceres-Tolbach earthquake is one of the ones which was the largest and caused the most damage. But also in the Free State and in KZN, there are also historical records of reasonably large events.
Just finally, very quickly, the difference in readings between our own Council for Geoscience and the United States Geological Survey, how did that come about?
So you've asked the most difficult question as the final one.
Sorry, man.
It's difficult to answer this without getting slightly technical. But basically, the way that these magnitudes were found is by looking at stations and looking at what the amplitude of the wave that's recorded is at these different locations. So the South African network, where that came from, that catalogue, it has more stations closer around the earthquake, whereas the American network is relying more on international network, so their magnitude was mainly based on a station in Botswana. But as well as the difference in data, the way that they calculate the magnitudes is quite likely to have been different. So when you do this, you need to make assumptions about how well the rocks in the area can transmit the waves. So if they transmit them very well, then it means you can go further away, but you can still have a big amplitude.
Okay.
And you need a model. So probably they're using different models. Probably the South African Council for Geoscience will be using a more appropriate local model for calculating the magnitude.
We know our Earth and we know it well. Doc, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm not feeling terrified about any impending natural disasters, which is always a good thing. But thanks for demystifying that, and we really appreciate your time this morning.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
That's Dr. Alistair Sloan, lecturer of structural geology and tectonics at University of Cape Town, thanking him for his time and the information that will certainly put some anxiety at ease.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. Wasty, do you have a happy dance when we're in the kitchen?
Well, I'm in the kitchen with you. And the most exciting thing about the recipe we're about to do, the most exciting thing is, right, you get to have a date.
Oh, so early in the morning.
Right? It's been a while.
Okay, well, it has been a while, but listen, eating healthy doesn't mean we don't crave those sweet things, even if it's a date. Now, today we are showing you how to make these delicious, healthy snickeroo bars. And who knew so few ingredients can bring you so much joy and so much pleasure? So, Wasty, you are here to show us how to make this delicious snickeroo bar. It is great for an immune boost. They're also insanely moreish and taste deceptively indulgent. So, big words being used.
Okay, I like deceptively indulgent. Juxtaposing the flavors, and this is good. Right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do some toasting of the nuts. They left the nuts job to the nuts guy. The great thing is that we're actually going to fill the dates. So we're going to get some pitted dates, and this is going to be our receptacle for deliciousness. You see the big words are coming through fast now.
It's coming through, and of course you're using our hero ingredient, which is our Be Well canola oil, which is low in saturated fat levels.
Indeed.
It creates the ideal balance and light taste made from 100% canola seeds. This oil is packed with omega-3s, and it is the perfect choice. It's the best choice for you and your family.
I am roasting some almonds, okay? Because I think it's important.
Raw almonds or roasted
We're gonna,
almonds?
So we get the raw ones. We're going to make them roasted. That's what they call... Hello? Yes.
Roasted has a bit of a saltiness to it.
That's what I like about them. I think they just kind of, the flavor of the almonds, when you get a bit of a roast in them, it's the best. I mean, sometimes, when they are raw, it feels like you're eating healthy. When they're roasted, suddenly it's like, ooh, this is decadent. And that's exactly what I'm going for. So while I do that, this is what I want you to prepare for. You will be stuffing our pitted dates.
Okay.
You'll be stuffing them with some, earlier I roasted some peanuts, okay?
Can I start?
You can go for it, yes. So start with the peanuts, and then what I want you to do is create a little cap on top of that with some almond butter. And this essentially will hold it together because, this is like a no-bake thing. This is
a no-bake
the only sort of
thing.
heat you put to it is, of course, here we go, I'm roasting almonds. There's the heat there. And then, of course, when you melt your chocolate a little later, where the decadence comes in, I'm excited.
This is like
really
a little stopper. Like a little...
That's it.
You know what? If I
Come on.
had to patch a hole, because I am going to be moving soon, this is what I'm going to do to my holes, but obviously with the right equipment.
So basically what you were saying is you want to use filler. On your
polyfiller.
So you're using cooking culinary filler is what you're using, which is almond butter. Well done.
There we go.
See, that's it, and it's good for cracks in the kitchen, especially when it comes to the food. I'm glad that you are pumping that up nicely because we want to get that decadent flavor in there. You want to get the bite, the softness of the beautiful of the almond butter as well, and then that's going to be sort of counteracted there, but the sweetness is going to come through.
Okay.
So I'm hearing the pops, so when I hear the pops, it means we're good to go.
That's
so
good.
almonds are toasted, we are happy.
Okay.
Very, very happy about that.
So
And
here
I'm
we
happy.
have some
Yeah.
pre-made stuffed dates with our almond butter, our
Great.
nut butter on top, and we're going to simply just dip it into, coat it with our dark chocolate.
And this is where you can get everybody involved. If you want to have a healthy date night, I think this is actually quite a nice thing to do. Not
This
only
is the
because it's the
ultimate
dates,
date night.
but I'll just, if you know that the person that you're dating is into fitness and stuff, you can say, I've thought about you, and now I've done something a bit more decadent, but it's going to be nice and healthy still. And you really, really are sorting out your date. You're going to impress somebody, Zoe, if in the event that you have
Listen, let's
a date.
let's focus on the food dates.
But these are dates. I am focusing on the dates. What are you talking about? That's what I'm doing. And this is the great thing. So when you crunch into it, what I'm excited about is the fact that it's going to go into a freezer and it's going to get that proper chill. And then thereafter, the crunch that you get of the peanuts that you placed inside there, that decadent softness of the almond butter as, you start warming it up with the chewing sensation, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
This
I can't
is
wait
so
to try.
fun, and you can really add your own spin to it. I
Yes,
mean,
you
if you
can.
want to add berries to it, imagine this with some goji berries or some like mulberries or any berries, really.
I can picture that, like, there's a lot of also with regard to the almond butter, you can replace it with a bunch of different types of butters as well. That's entirely up to you. I mean, there's macadamia butter that you can add to. You can do all sorts and you can make it your own flavor. And I'm saying what I would do, I'd even be a sneaky bit of mint in there as well.
Ooh.
Just to kind of brighten it up a bit. That would be me.
Well, this is the beautiful thing about our own snickeroo handmade bars. We do have this recipe available for you. You can find it at expressoshow.com, and you can really personalize it and make it your own. But we have to taste it, Wes.
I'm ready to taste. Okay, let's go over to our tasting section. We are ready.
This is what it's going to look like.
Yes, just like that.
You go first.
Okay, I'm ready for this one over here. Let's give it a...
Do you bite with your front teeth?
I bite... Actually, no, I do a side bite.
Do the
I
side?
always do
I
a side
have
bite.
this irrational fear my front teeth will fall out.
Hold on.
Tell us how it tastes.
Snickeroo. Okay, the dark chocolate, that's the tonic of the whole thing. The put a date. I'm sorry we're talking with a mouthful. It's very rude, kids. This is so good.
This is really yummy. I love the dark chocolate, the sweetness from the dates coming through, and a little bit of a crunch from the nut. Good job.
Okay, we did a good job, but you're going to do a better job. Just check out this recap and get the recipe on expressoshow.com. I'm going to have 5 more.
Just one.
I'll do 5.
One.
Strap yourself in to this hand-built 5-liter sedan. An engineering marvel that could drive your spend into the red. Accelerating your lifestyle beyond your means. In this world of chasing status, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we lighten the mood just a little bit. He's a comedian, he's a superb actor, he's a content creator, and yes, he hails from the beautiful province of KZN. This morning, we are very excited to be chatting to none other than Prev Reddy. Prev, a very good morning. Thanks so much for joining us, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. I am so good. You guys, you don't understand. Out of everything I've accomplished in life, this is the biggest achievement because this is my mom's favorite show ever. So thank you for having me.
Well, give your mom a shout out because she's obviously watching you now.
She's in the lounge watching right now before she goes to work. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mommy. We love you, Mom. What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Sally, and she's the biggest Zoe fan.
Of course.
Hello, Mama Sally. It's so nice to have your son on our show.
We love you, Sally. But, Prev, we love you, dude. We are so excited to connect with you. Before we get on to the lighter stuff, obviously, life in Durban at the moment has been crazy. We can't talk without addressing the mayhem that recently took place during the looting and unrest in your part of the country. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience, what that was like during this period, and how are you feeling about it now?
Honestly, it was something out of a movie. I promise you, because, I mean, everything sort of took off on the Monday of, I think last weekend or the week just before. And so I knew there was protests happening and there were things bubbling under over the weekend. My mom was one of them. She works in the CBD and she told me, there's a bit of unrest happening, just take it easy. And that Monday morning, I woke up to the sound of gunshots, helicopters, and petrol bombs. And I promise you, it honestly felt like I was in a movie. And I moved out finally, and what a time to move out. And it was honestly it was one of the scariest experiences ever, because it was so uncertain, we were so unsure. The streets were eerie because it was so quiet, everyone was locked up in their houses. And yeah, it was unreal. And now things have calmed down. There's still a sense of tension in the air, but everyone is trying to get back to normal life slowly but surely.
Oh, well, I'm glad you guys are safe. I think, for anyone that has friends and family in KZN, it's been a stressful period, just our concern for your safety. Now, we want to obviously touch on the lighter things of life right now. And for any of our viewers that aren't too familiar with your hilarious Auntie Shamila skits, please can you tell us how the idea for her and the other characters that you've created over the last 3 years came to life? Like, what sparked that? What was your inspiration?
So I'm a writer, producer. I got a degree in script writing, particularly in comedy. And so during my college years and post-college, I did a lot of stand-up comedy around South Africa. And I mean, when you live in Durban, you move to Joburg to follow the dream, things don't pan out the way you expect them to. And so I had to move back home after about a year in Joburg, and my mom and I actually got into a really funny argument. I thought it was funny, she didn't. And we got into an argument, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna film this because I think this is like a skit. I filmed it, and the first video got over 20,000 views in like 24 hours. And then I sort of just ran with it. I could tell that people wanted that type of content and they related to it, not just with Indian families, but South African families as a whole. And so I took the skill of writing and I just developed Auntie Shamila into what she is today. And then I've added a bunch of characters to her little crazy world.
Now, it sounds like the Auntie Shamila wasn't part of the long-term plan, but thankfully she did come about. If she had to stay, what does the future hold for you now that you've had this chance to take in a deep breath, all the craziness aside, and start planning for your immediate future? What's on the cards?
There's so much happening. I mean, one of the things coming up this next week actually is an Auntie Shamila live show happening online. So one of the big plans for 2021 was to go on an international tour. In 2019, Auntie Shamila did 15 sold-out shows across South Africa and Dubai. So 2021, we were supposed to take her around the world, but we couldn't. So we're doing an online show for everyone around the globe. And then there's a few more secret projects that I can't talk about, but Auntie Shamila might be coming to a TV screen very soon.
Yes,
man. That would be nice. How can viewers get tickets and be part of the show?
So tickets go on sale for Auntie Shamila Almost Live. Tickets go on sale today on Quicket towards the afternoon. But if people follow me on social media, I'll be sharing ticket updates as soon as they happen.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I mean, I don't know how appropriate this is to ask, but for example, when I host the Zoom, my biggest fear is the camera turns around and you see the mess that's actually on the other side. But, we wanted to find out, do you have a sunrise photo that you want to share with us, or a little view that you want to
I do. There it is.
There we go. Oh, that is gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. I've been wondering why you wake up so positive every day. Buddy,
it's just a perfect winter day in Durban, just a normal day.
Hence why you are wearing a T-shirt. Buddy, you're doing some amazing work at the moment, and I know you're just getting started, which is the most exciting part of all of this. I cannot wait for where you will be once all travel restrictions are lifted and you have carte blanche to go out there and do what you do, but just keep pumping them out online. We love your content, buddy, and we love you. You're spreading a very positive message in the world right now, which we need. So thank you so much for that.
I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for being everyone's coffee in the morning. I know it's gotten my mom to work every single day for God knows how long. So thank you.
We love you, Sally.
There we go. Life is beautiful, not because of the things we see or do. Life is beautiful because of the people we meet.
Yeah.
One of the best things about this show is how we really get to connect with people far and wide from so many different walks of life. And a big thank you for, you know, taking a small bit of your time to really share with us this morning. Thank you, Prev Reddy. Of course, make sure you get your hands on his tickets. You can get it at quicket.co.za. And let's show some support this Women's Day for Auntie Sullivan's Almost Live show.
Thank you so much, Auntie Shamila. Okay, I can't wait for that thing. Honestly, it's going to be fantastic. And clearly, if you look at that sunrise photo in Durban, winter is their favorite day of the year. Anyway, let's move on to a place to escape winter. A gorgeous place. Durban, of course. And there's one guy who went there. Protea Hotel by Marriott has a Carradine beach venue that is absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't even feel like winter. And Tabiso was there. And my guess is that he's wearing a leather jacket. Let's take a look.
Hey, how's it going? I'm at the Protea Hotel by Marriott, Carradine Beach on Durban's south coast, where the sun is always shining, the birds are always chirping. I can't wait to kick back, relax, unwind, enjoy a slice of Paradiso. Well, that means paradise. Oh, come with me. Carradine is without a doubt the best place to come relax and unwind because you're not too far from the city, but you're also not in the city. But you do have the best of those two worlds. Number one, you've got the beach right there on your doorstep, surrounded by that. The water's always warm there. It's fantastic for a swim anytime. The pool is asking for you to jump into it. But let's talk about the people. The people in Carradine, that has to be the cream for me. They are the friendliest people you will find. And just a short drive away is the very famous Croc World Conservation Center. I'll tell you one thing about this place. It's a must-see for every family coming down here. I'm gonna have so much fun. James, how's it going?
Good, and yourself?
Good, thank you. Good to meet you. Whoa, James, this has been quite the experience for me, just walking here to meet you. I'm seeing crocodiles. I've seen so many interesting birds, and I hear you've got snakes as well. You have to tell me, what exactly do you do here?
We do quite a lot. We've got a few different types of animals. We've got crocs, we've got lizards, we've got snakes, we've got birds. You name it, we've pretty much got it. What we try to focus on is sort of rescue and rehabilitation of animals. So a lot of our birds, for instance, can't fly or they've got injured wings and things like that. So we take them in because they basically are not releasable back into the wild. And then, yeah, our main focus is obviously to educate the public when they come here and watch our talks and gain a bit of compassion for crocodiles. I think crocodiles are a lot of the time seen as quite big, ugly, scary monsters when they're actually not really, that they're quite calm and relaxing. And saying that, I wouldn't suggest anyone goes to try and touch them, but yeah, they're not as bad as what everyone thinks.
And I think you also have quite a few crocodiles. In fact, I've seen a lot of crocodiles. In fact, I never thought in my life I would one day stand this close to crocodiles. What types of crocodiles do we find in South Africa?
In South Africa, we've got one species of native croc, that is the Nile croc, which are the ones that surround us right now. They are the second biggest species of crocodile in the world, behind the Australian saltwater croc. At the center, we've got 4 species of crocodile, or crocodilian. That includes the Nile crocs, the West African dwarf crocodiles, American alligators, and then also West African slender-snouted crocodiles, which are actually critically endangered. They say there's less than 1,000 of them left in the wild.
James, are they just chilling here, soaking up the sun, or are they doing this because they want me to feed them?
No, not yet. So they're just trying to warm up, get some energy, and then they'll carry on with their day before they get fed.
Will I get to feed one?
We will be doing a croc feed. Yeah, that should be quite a nice experience for you.
Cool, exciting. Hey guys, catch you later when it's feeding time. James and I will be there. Okay, James, let's go. don't know how many of you can say that you've held a crocodile in your hand. For me, that's about to change, because I'm going to be one of very few people you've ever known who's ever had a crocodile in their hand. James, are you ready?
Are you ready? That's the question.
Well, so James over here at Croc World is about to put this croc. What's he called?
This is a Nile crocodile, a juvenile Nile crocodile.
Yeah. In my hand. How many people do you know can say they've had a crocodile in their hand? Very few, if any at all. I'm gonna stand this side.
Okay.
What do I need to do, James?
You need to open your fingers up like that.
Everybody watching, everybody watching, everybody watching. Like this?
Yeah.
And then what?
I'm gonna put him on your hand, okay? So let him sit on your palm of your hand. Okay, it's fully safe. He can't bite you, can't do anything.
Yes, okay, you can take him now. The restaurant at the Protea Hotel by Marriott Carradine is the perfect spot. You've got the best of outside, but the best of inside as well. I chose to sit on the outside area, and it doesn't matter where you sit because the food really is what makes the restaurant. Let's put it this way. After the day I've had being surrounded by crocodiles, birds, and snakes, I've worked up quite the appetite. It's lunchtime, and the food is here. Ah, Sisbogiwe, thank you. Thanks. Ooh, let's tuck in. So, what's a holiday in paradise without some TLC? I'm talking about tender, loving care. Time for me to treat myself to a bit of a massage, maybe a pedi, maybe a mani. Let's see what the spa has in store for us. Come. Oh, where do I even start when it comes to the massage? That lady, Nokolo, has magic hands. I really needed it. I'd had such a long day. Spending the day with crocodiles is not easy. And so when she put her hands and put in that pressure, I knew I was being transported from here straight to heaven in a matter of seconds. Left feeling so relaxed. The aromatherapy is just what I needed. We're living in one of the most stressful times, but I think for me personally, the job that I do really has me going between provinces and cities. Every single day I could find myself in 2 or 3 cities. And it's very easy to get lost in all of that and find yourself so tense and so exhausted. What is very important though is to be able to switch off and take time to yourself. And how I've been able to do that for myself by coming here has been the best way.
Okay, now I understand why he doesn't come to work. That's
yeah, it makes
so
sense
nice.
now. Yeah, I mean, I
also
wouldn't
want
be
some cocktails.
Wowza. You must be nice, eh?
Oh.
Protea Hotel by Marriott, the Carradine Beach, and apparently you know a bit more about it, right?
Yes, my mom and dad live 15 minutes away and they often do a little staycation there. But the funniest thing is it's a staycation, so they go for a few days. But my dad still goes home every day to feed the dogs.
It just shows you convenience is on your doorstep. If you want to go and escape winter, you should go to Durban and enjoy Protea Hotel by Marriott, Carradine Beach. Who knows? It could get you to work.
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bomvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
it is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. And you know what? On Tuesdays, it's all about a Travel Tuesday. And we haven't finished exploring this Travel Tuesday. In fact, next we are taking a healthy trip to Mexico with a Mexican chicken tray bake loaded with wonderful avocados. Now, avos are delicious. They are in season and they contain so many of the nutrients which support the immune system, the copper and the biotin, which what's more is that it is good for you and also for that gut health, something that's been on my bucket list this year to focus on.
It sounds completely. It's weird. Where it all starts, but blah, 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 Zoe, it tastes amazing.
It tastes amazing.
That's the most important thing. No, you're 100% right. There are golds. And you know that I say lightly, humans have been cultivating avocados for over 10,000 years. They predate the wheel. That's how much of a love affair we have with the avocado. It lends itself to Mexican flavor profiles. And I think what we have created here today is something I've never done this before, but I think this is going to be an absolute banger. The flavors look immense.
Yes, and I mean, my mom and dad, they have an avo tree at home, and we've just never been successful in getting a ripe avo before the monkeys get to it or the dogs get a hold of it. But it's always so nice and convenient.
Maybe the
buy perfect avos.
Maybe the monkeys and the dogs are in cahoots, and the monkeys grab it, they throw it down, and the dogs get it. But we have got ample avocado supply at the moment. But just to delve a little bit deeper here, the avocados, why they are so healthy for you, very high in copper, with one serving of avocado actually offering up 1/3 of your entire daily copper needs. Now, why it's so important is that copper is needed for the immune system function, as it is the mineral that plays a vital role in the functioning of the special immune cells. And it also enhances the activity of natural killer cells, which help to limit the spread of infections in the body.
There we go. And avocados are also high in biotin, a B vitamin, which contributes to the normal functioning of our skin. Now, our skin is the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses that enter the body, making it a very important part in the normal functioning of the immune system. And I'm quite excited to get started on this recipe.
Yeah, man. Did you know that 65% of our immune system is found in the gut? And this was something that you highlighted a moment ago. This makes a healthy gut vital for our immune support. Where do avos fit in? Well, avocados are a very good source of fiber, which we know is essential for good gut health. So let's get stuck in.
Let's get into this.
I'm going to start with the chicken side of our dish, and you're going to be whipping up our beautiful sour cream mixture, which is going to be going on top. And these are, as I said, quite Mexican flavors. So what we've got here, we've got our chicken pieces on the bone with the skin on, because you want that skin to crisp up beautifully. We've got taco spice.
Ooh.
So it's going to be pungent, and you want to get like a nice liberal coating all over the chicken pieces if you can.
Yeah.
I would almost do this kind of in advance and let that sit for a little. There's something about letting your protein sit in the spices for a little bit longer. Just
feels like the flavor almost absorbs a little bit better.
Completely.
Now, I don't know how appropriate it is to talk about gut health while we're working with food, but I did mention it's been one of my goals and focus areas for this year, and I promise you, the minute you actually take care of your gut, it reflects on your skin. I feel like my skin is so much clearer. When I'm not on screen, I don't wear makeup because it's been such an important thing for me to focus on, and I had no idea that the avo plays such a big and important role with the fiber intake.
We need that fiber content, but that's where it starts in the gut, and that it leads to better energy management, absolutely everything. So I've got my chicken busy kind of marinating, if you will, in their spices. Now I'm going to start with the base of our tray. So we've got a big baking tray. We've got our chopped tomatoes. You want to kind of get a liberal spread right across.
It's like a nice little salsa going there. So I've got our sour cream here, and I've added some chorizo sauce. There we go.
Oh, that in itself is beautiful. Just dip a chip right in there.
Yes.
So we've got some chopped up butternut. And I've gone quite chunky here. You want it quite rustic, and you're going to bake it at quite a high heat for a while. So these veggies are going to be able to cook through quite beautifully. But just think of how all the flavors are going to infuse. It's going to be beautiful.
Adding a little bit of lemon juice.
There we go. So butternut's gone in. I've now got our chunks of red onion. Definitely use red onion for this one.
And I love the chunkiness of it. There's something rustic. The minute it softens up, it's so nice and delicious to eat.
Oh, completely.
And the sweetness comes through.
Then we've got our cherry tomatoes. I love these these variety packs of cherry tomatoes at the moment. Then we have got our yellow peppers. And these peppers, once they start to get that char, are going to go all sweet, and they're going to be absolutely beautiful and delicious. And then finally some red. And what do we talk about? Colour. Colour, letting us know that we're getting all of those vital nutrients. And obviously, it's going to look quite full now. These veggies are going to cook down a little bit, but you want all of these beautiful flavours to infuse. And then, sorry, I don't know why I'm leaving behind one little piece of
there we go.
Pepper. And then finally, I'm going to add our chicken pieces. Excuse me using my fingers, I have sanitized profusely, but you want the chicken on top, and you want the skin to be able to crisp up, because that's kind of, let's be honest, one of the great joys of life is crispy chicken skin. And then the final thing that I'm going to do here is just drizzle with a little bit of oil just to help with that.
And that we pop into the oven.
Yeah, man. 30 minutes, 35 minutes to 40 minutes. Just keep checking. You want your skin to have crisped up nicely, and you want to make sure that your veggies have softened up, and then voila, pop it into the oven. It's going to roast through beautifully. You're going to get this wonderful mix of flavors, and you're going to end up with this as your end result, and this is where we can have a lot of fun. We've created a beautiful guacamole with our avo here, but you could just put kind of half an avo sliced up, lemons. You've been getting in there.
I have.
But make a lot, because we've got a lot, and it's going to feed the entire studio team. So I'm going to, if you will...
You're going to tuck in there.
I'm going to just...
Okay. Please, I would love a plate for myself too.
Yeah, no,
and if you would like to know more info about avocados and their health benefits, the South African Avocado Growers Association will be hosting a free webinar on Thursday, the 12th of August at 12:30 with registered dietitian Monique Pedret, who will be happy to answer all of your questions. To find out more, you can simply visit I Love Avocado SA on Facebook. I Love Avocado SA on Facebook. If you want to get your hands on this recipe, you can find it on our website, expressoshow.com.
So now, does that not look like a well-balanced, beautiful, colourful, healthy plate of food?
Good, there we go. I'm going to try guacamole.
Add an avo, nurtured in South Africa.
All right, so after that, I know the bellies are full, but that's not like, you know, you're not going to close your eyes now. Okay, you have to actually open eyes for these talented individuals on the stage right now. So move the coffee table, because you may have seen this man, Craig Jordaan, on a certain reality TV show do this particular song, Dancing with a Stranger, a Sam Smith and Normani track. But he's going to give it a different spin. Enjoy. He's on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It's pretty clear that I'm not over you. I'm still thinking about the things you do. So I don't wanna be alone tonight, alone tonight, alone tonight. Can you light the fire? I need somebody who can take control. I know exactly what I have to do. So I don't wanna be alone tonight, alone tonight, alone tonight. Look what you made me do, with somebody new. Baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do, with somebody new. Baby, baby, I'm dancing. I wasn't even going out tonight, but boy, I need to get you off of my mind. I know exactly what I have to do. So I don't wanna be alone tonight, alone tonight, alone tonight. Look what you made me do, with somebody new. Baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do, with somebody new. Stranger, oh, I'm dancing with a stranger, dancing with a stranger, dancing, oh, what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Ooh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Oh, baby, baby, I'm dancing. What you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Oh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Oh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Oh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Ooh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger. Look what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Oh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger.
I told you, who the place? This is Craig Jordaan. He's got a couple more performances for you in your Feel Good Breakfast Show. That was absolutely wonderful. Stick around because we've got some more COVID-19 information for you later in the show. And, of course, we check in on those Turkish fires. Brother man, you were fire, honestly. Where do I get that T-shirt?
Plan your next holiday with Marriott Hotels. Explore the best of Mzansi from our incredible coastlines, mountains, nature retreats, and bush escapes. Marriott Bonvoy members enjoy 20% off standard rates plus free breakfast, and non-members 15% off, and with flexible cancellation. Not yet a member? Join when you book. Book now on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. We are almost at the top of the hour. We'll delve back into our news and sporting headlines. But right now, right at this moment, taking into consideration the images that we have been seeing over the past few days, we are praying for Turkey. The whole world is, in fact, this after the ongoing wildfires that have devastated several provinces of the country and have spread to neighboring Greece and Italy. We in Cape Town know all too well about the devastation wildfires can cause. And connecting with us all the way from Turkey right now in Istanbul is student Efe Akgul. Efe, very good morning. Welcome to our show.
Hi, good morning. Is the connection fine?
The connection is perfect, my friend. Thanks so much for taking the time to connect with us. I suppose the most important question at the moment is, how are you? What is the situation like at this very moment?
Okay, so first of all, thanks very much for having me in your show, and I wish all those South Africa a really good morning. So currently, today is the 7th day that the wildfires have started. They've started on the 28th of July. The latest information that the official information we have notes 13 ongoing wildfires in 6 provinces across Turkey at the moment. Most of them are in the western coastline, and also I think a couple quite well-known vacation spots such as Bodrum and Marmaris, and the respective bay areas around those spots have been burning severely since the start. For over the past 7 days, a total of 38 provinces out of a total 81 in Turkey, so that's a considerable number, has experienced around 150 wildfires of different levels of severity since the start. None has been observed in Istanbul yet, but the authorities are trying to keep the situation under control in every province.
Just looking at the sheer scale of it, it's almost breathtaking, that in itself. But I think what really hits home is where you see how this is affecting the people on the ground floor. We've read that many people have been left homeless through this devastation. Can you tell us a bit more about the severity of the destruction that's been caused?
Yeah, of course. In several areas, the wildfires have already started or about to start hitting the housing areas, and we've experienced several different levels of evacuation processes, both through roads and through boats in remote areas. So evacuation has been going on in a number of counties, and an official figure that I could share is that approximately 10,000 people in the most well-known vacation spot of Bodrum area and the surrounding areas have been evacuated so far, but the exact number in total who have lost their accommodation is yet to know because of the fires that are ongoing at the moment. But government representatives have also spoken to the domestic media about their possible restructuring plans to rebuild housing for the affected people. And we are all praying that it would stop around these numbers and not continue to affect anymore.
Yeah, we hope that there is some kind of line in the sand, at least able to be drawn at the moment. I know that the cause of the fire and the original, where it originated, still yet to be confirmed, but it has been linked to what can only be called an extreme heat wave there. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so over the past couple of years as well, the provinces which have been experiencing the most severe wildfires at the moment, they have also experienced smaller ones during summertime in earlier years because of the climate around those areas. However, with the impact of global warming and this year's extreme heat wave, the series of wildfires we've been experiencing in those areas have been much more severe than the ones last year. Also, experts, the meteorologists, have also warned about extreme droughts in the period between the end of July, around 25th of July, until September. So that's also a direct cause. But unfortunately, because we've been experiencing much smaller ones of these wildfires over the past couple of years, the ones that have been going on this year, we were basically just not ready to cope with them. We were not expecting.
I'm glad that
such an impact.
I know. Just looking at the visuals again right now, I mean, we've been reporting on this for the past couple of days, and now we know that the fires have also spread to neighboring Greece and to Italy. What has the international response been like to this incredible devastation?
With the ones in Greece and Italy, I can say that they are also linked to the same route. I think because of the similar climate conditions around all of the Mediterranean area. We know that the ones in Greece have not directly spread from us, but stemmed from the same cause because of the same climate conditions. Most probably same for Italy as well. For Greece and Italy, their respective governments have been firefighting so far since the start of their wildfires as well. And it's also noted that the European Union has sent 3 firefighting planes to Turkey as well. It's been confirmed by the European Commission yesterday.
Effort, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning. You've done a great job as an on-site reporter for us and certainly set the picture there. But our thoughts and prayers go to everyone who has been affected, and I suppose most importantly to the firefighters on the front line at the moment. But thank you for your time this morning. You really have helped set the scene for something that is breathtaking, as I said, in its scale of devastation.
Thanks very much for having me on, and thanks for your prayers as well. We also keep praying for the firefighters, for the people who have been affected, and not only in Turkey, but also in other countries as well.
If doing a fantastic job of setting the scene for us, and I'm glad that he drew that distinction, made the link between this and climate change. So much of the unbelievably absurd weather conditions that we've experienced this year, a result of climate change. But take nothing away from what's going on the ground level. Again, our thoughts and prayers go to those in Turkey.
Thank you, Graham. It's now 8 o'clock, time for us to take a final look at your national headlines. The Esidimeni judicial inquiry into the deaths of 144 psychiatric and mentally handicapped patients has been postponed to 30 August, the second time in 2 weeks that the investigation has been postponed for consultations. Lawyer Russell Sibara, legal representative of the former director of mental health at Gauteng's health department, argued the previous postponement was not sufficient to work through the many documents. He also wanted to know why former Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi has not been called as a witness. And the Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has said it was dealing with a rabies outbreak after 3 people, including a woman carrying a baby, were attacked by a honey badger in the Kromdal area last week. The honey badger was subsequently put down and taken to Onderstepoort Veterinary Institute, where a positive diagnosis was made. The 3 human bite cases immediately received treatment. Pet owners have been urged to vaccinate their cats and dogs against rabies. And moving to news abroad, resident doctors in Nigerian public hospitals began an indefinite strike yesterday over grievances which include the delayed payment of salaries and allowances. Nigerian doctors frequently strike over what they say are poor conditions of service. Last year, they quit their jobs 3 times over demands including an allowance for treating COVID-19 patients. 19 doctors have succumbed to COVID-19 with no death and service insurance. The health minister has said the ministry is engaging the striking doctors to resolve the issue quickly. And Poland's deputy foreign minister has confirmed that the Belarusian athlete Kristina Timanowskaya has been granted a humanitarian visa at their embassy in Tokyo. Her family would also be offered protection. The 24-year-old have had a run-in with the 200 meters yesterday. She was reportedly forced to return to Belarus on Saturday after criticizing her country's sports officials on social media. She refused to board the plane in Tokyo and approached Japanese police for help. Her husband has reportedly fled Belarus and is in Ukraine's capital, Kiev. And next, Tom Daley's knitting his way through the Tokyo Olympics. It's competitive. If competitive diving doesn't work out, British Olympic diver Tom Daley can always pursue a career as a knitwear designer. In a viral picture of him knitting in the stands at the women's 3-meter springboard final on Sunday, the gold medalist had his eyes on the wall and not in the water. Daley, fresh from winning his first ever Olympic gold in the men's synchronized 10-meter platform, caused a stir online, with many viewers keen to know exactly what the purple creation was that he was feverishly knitting away at. Daley said knitting has become his way of finding calm, mindfulness and relief of stress, and he even has a separate knitting account called Made with Love by Tom Daley, where he posts these creations, including doggy jumpers that he sells to raise money for charity. Well, on that very happy note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Here's another look at your sport with Graham.
Thanks so much. So let's stay at the Olympics. Unfortunately, not the best news from a South African perspective. Our Wade van Niekerk will not be defending his 400-meter title at the Olympic Games. That was after being eliminated from the semi-finals yesterday. The 29-year-old world record holder finished in a 5th place with a time of 45.14 seconds. Fellow South African Wendy Nell also failing to reach the final in her 400-meter hurdle event when she finished 7th in her semi-final, clocking a time of 56.35 seconds. Then a bit of a shock in football at the Olympics. A second-half penalty by Jesse Fleming guided Canada to a stunning 1-0 win over the 4-time Olympic champions, the United States, at the Tokyo Games. So that victory takes Canada into the women's football gold medal match for the first time ever, where they, of course, will face off against Sweden on Friday. America will take on Australia in the bronze medal match, and that's on Thursday. And then back to Test rugby news. Springbok head coach Jacques Ninaba has named 3 exciting new additions to the national squad as the Boks continue preparations for that decider against the British and Irish Lions on Saturday. Loose forward Dan du Preez, wing Roscoe Speckman and hooker Johan Grobbelaar have all been called up to join the Springboks in Cape Town. The third and final deciding test match between South Africa and the British and Irish Lions will kick off again at 6 p.m. at Cape Town Stadium this coming Saturday. Well, on that thrilling note is where we sound off our sporting headlines. Let's get one last take on our global weather, expand on the crazy weather that is gripping the world at the moment, and get today's temperature.
Thanks a lot, G. Let's do that. And weather news. We start off. The wildfires in Turkey and Greece, which broke out last week, have been fueled by strong winds and scorching temperatures since yesterday. Athens is expected to reach a temperature of 42 degrees Celsius today. This southern European heatwave, fed by hot air from North Africa, has also gripped other parts of the Mediterranean in recent days. Scientists say the wildfires are linked with extreme temperatures, a longer drought period, as well as a low level of humidity and high wind speeds. And all of these can be linked to climate change. They warn that both the frequency and intensity of wildfires will intensify in future. Meanwhile, as Turkey is ravaged by these unprecedented forest fires, support teams from Spain, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Azerbaijan and Croatia have been deployed to assist firefighters. The 24/7 EU Civil Protection Mechanism has also been activated and is closely monitoring the situation to channel the EU assistance. We are really empathetic to the Turkish citizens that are dealing with the crazy fires tearing across Turkey. It has definitely inspired our international featured cities this morning, and our last international city this morning is the gorgeous coastal city of Antalya. It is located on Anatolia's southwest coast, bordered by Taurus Mountains. Features include stunning views, nearby cliffs can be seen, numerous waterfalls and historical architecture. The city is surrounded by 2 walls in the shape of a horsetail, one of which is along the seafront. High temperatures continue in this coastal city today. Residents and visitors can expect sizzling sunshine and a very hot maximum of, wait for it, 47 degrees Celsius. Heat warnings have been issued and advisories to remain indoors have been issued. Thank you to all of our viewers who regularly contribute on the stuff down here in South Africa this morning. We want to just kick things off. And we showed you Alka Barnstein from Villiersdorp, who showed us this gorgeous sky filled with hues of blue and pink. We've got Karen Somerville from Oslo Beach in KZN, who shared the stunning view overlooking the ocean as the sun rises over the horizon, casting a beautiful burnt orange across the sky. We received this gorgeous sunrise capturing a colorful sky as the sun rises over the ocean, and this was sent in by Hannes Bosman from Gordons Bay. Our viewers are on a roll this morning when it comes to the photography skills. Thank you so much for that. Maureen Anzal Benetter from East London also shared a photo of the sun rising over the ocean, showing off the silhouetted trees against that orange sky in the background. Now, of course, these sunrise segments can be nothing without you, and that's why we need your sunrise photos. So if you have any of those, head over to the Expresso Facebook page and do share it with us, as well as your location, and who knows, you could be featured here next time. Let's take a look at the temperatures to wrap up this particular weather segment. Now, Polokwane, you can expect 6 to 19 today. Bombela, you got 10 to 24. Pretoria, 7 to 20. You've also got a beautiful temperature of 6 to 18 in Johannesburg. Mahikeng, 6 to 22 for you today. Klerksdorp, 4 is your minimum, and that jumps up to 23. Kimberley, good morning to you. 7 to 24, shining bright like a diamond as always. Bloemfontein, looking lovely. 0 is where you start, but you're up to 22 later. Richards Richards Bay 15 to 23 with a 25% chance of rain. Pietermaritzburg 9 to 26. Durban 15 to 24. Umtata, you start at 6 and you're up to a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. Looking good there. East London 15 to 25. A beautiful day in Karaoke 3 to 27. Gqeberha 11 and you rise steadily to 27 degrees Celsius. George, you can expect a low of 9, but you're up to 25 later. Cape Town 11 to 20. Worcester 4 to 25. Sutherland 4 to 19. And then another gorgeous day in Uppington. 11 is the minimum, and that's up to a high of 27 degrees Celsius. That wraps up the weather news as well as the temperatures. Thanks a lot for your sunrise photos. Please keep them coming, and who knows, you could be featured tomorrow on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Well, it is the final hour of your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we are back on the Expresso stage with singer and songwriter Craig Jordaan, and he's keeping the morning going on a silky smooth track as he performs the debut single from Super Duo. This is Anderson Park and Bruno Mars's project Silk Sonic called Leave the Door Open, but in fact, I believe you're performing that one a little bit later, right?
Yes.
You're going to do Trust and Believe. No, you're doing Trust and Believe right now. Well, that is a song, a cover from, well, Keisha Cole's track, right? Okay, well, Craig Jordaan, the stage is yours. I'm going to leave you. This is your moment. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you love this one. If you're at home, get up on your feet and let's have a good time. Together, I held you down. I gave you all of me. But look at us now, thinking of all your excuses, but they don't add up. Now it's so easy to see you don't deserve my love. You pushed me back. You brought me to there. You had my heart, but then you blew it. I'm so over you, forget lost. But who do you think that you are? Trust and believe. I'm so over you. Boy, get lost. But who do you think that you are? Trust and believe.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Camphor Cream, enriched with camphor and glycerine. Trusted to restore and repair dry skin. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. With an intro like that, when you're looking like the doctor version of Vin Diesel, you know it's going to be a fantastic conversation. The COVID-19 vaccination process, of course, this will definitely help protect you from the virus. But getting the jab might not be without any side effects. We have to be honest about that with you. And you may experience anything from redness, pain and swelling on your arm where you got your shot, to a mild headache. But these symptoms should clear within a couple of days.
Well, they certainly did for me. I felt it very mildly, and by day 2, absolutely gone now. Trusted medical experts and infectious diseases specialist and good friend, Dr. Emil Reid, is back with us in studio to give us, as always, a COVID-19 update, but also to discuss the possible side effects of the vaccine that hopefully will help to put you at ease. And if you are experiencing any side effects, we'd love to hear from you. If you've got any concerns, you can give us a call, 021 110 552. Dr. Emil Reid, back in the house.
Hey,
morning,
you
guys.
look slightly more rested than the last time I saw you. Is that?
You think so?
I think it's on different meds now.
Yeah,
That's why.
maybe the adrenaline is just peaking at the moment,
medication.
man. You were right in the cold face the last time we spoke to you. How are the numbers looking at the moment? Any improvement? Are you still feeling the heat?
Well, guys, good morning.
Yeah.
Fantastic to be back.
All vaccinated?
Yes, all of us. Jabbed.
Jab buddies. I think the most important thing is, except for the numbers, and people look at the numbers and they say, well, things are getting better. What do we experience at the coalface, in the front lines? Things are looking horrible. It's an absolute massacre. And I'm telling you, the last 3 waves that we've been through, I think number 3 is probably the worst.
Wow.
And the reason for that is the people I have in my ICU and my high care unit, our hospital, are youngsters.
Yeah.
30, 40, 50 years. People are dying. Families are dying. Staff
are burnt out. There's no medication, there's no ventilators.
There's no beds.
There's no beds for anything else. And that's the problem that we're currently sitting with. And the one thing we do see, and what we found, is from the first 2 waves where we had majority old people getting into our ICUs, falling ill, ending up on ventilators, dying, average age was around about 65, 67 years.
Yes.
Currently in our ICUs and high care units, average age 42. And I think that's the problem. And the reason why the old folk is probably not becoming that ill, because they've been vaccinated. So we still see them coming to hospital, to the wards for evaluation. They don't make it to high care or ICU, they actually go home.
Thank goodness.
So if we are looking for a bright light at the end of a dark tunnel, there's a small example of what vaccines can actually do.
I mean, that's proof right there. You can see it in terms of that average age of those who are admitted to ICUs. When we are jabbed, I think a lot of people are still apprehensive, and naturally so. Lots of questions coming through. After I got jabbed, I'm sure the same with you, Graham. It was people asking me about, okay, how do you feel? You know, what's happening with you? Is it okay? Does it hurt? And these are natural. I actually encourage the questions because I love answering them.
Did you grow? Were you taller?
I found that I grew a bit.
Is it?
Yeah. Yes, a little bit.
Graham?
Graham, you?
I grew a bit dumber. That's
probably why you asked the question.
It seemed to affect the grey matter in my head. But we joke about this because there have been so many absolute nonsense, the kind of conspiracy theories that have been flying about. Yes, we know that it's relatively new in terms of how vaccines get brought about, that this has had to happen in a very much a fast-forward kind of motion. But what are the reasonable side effects that we can expect from the vaccine?
Yeah, I just need to say, if I speak to patients, quite often I hear the story, Doc, I'm not taking the jab. I'm taking my chances. And I say, why? No, I mean, these jabs were developed and tested within less than a year. Where's the data? I'm like, I'm treating you with medication that probably has less data than what the vaccines have, and you are willing for me to treat you with those medication. Remdesivir, dexamethasone, tocilizumab. You are happy for me to put that into your body with far less support from the data than what we have for vaccines. And the most important thing is that when we listen to that, people are scared.
Yeah.
And when it comes to side effects, exactly what you guys said earlier, except for the height, is the fact that the majority, 99, probably 0.9% of side effects are transient, are there for the first day or two, and after that there's absolutely nothing. So it's all about benefits versus risks, and the benefit outweighs the risks by far.
Yeah. When you say take your chances, there's no taking your chances with death, and that is the net outcome here at the moment. We're going to continue talking about the side effects associated with vaccinations, and I hope that you are getting your vaccination soon if you haven't already.
Oh, well, thank you, Dr. Emile, for always keeping us informed and up to date regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, every Tuesday, we bring you Pharmacy of the Week, a short feature that acknowledges the incredible people working on the front line. And this is our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Now, let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week. It is Alpha Farm Murray Square Pharmacy and Clinic.
Pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
Well, Murray Square has been part of this community for over 50 years. I remember coming here as a kid with my parents and getting medicine. I even worked here as a student, and now I'm back again working here. And Les, our manager, he's given his whole life to this pharmacy. I think he's always worked here, and he'll go out of his way to help everybody who comes through the door. During the recent unrest, our store was completely completely looted. They actually made a call not to open on that Monday, and so we were all at home and we saw the videos of our store, and it was heartbreaking. But some of the staff came on the Wednesday, before it was even safe to be here. We came in and we were organizing and tidying up. Then we had to leave early because there was hints of trouble again. But then after that, some of the staff were very, very hardworking, and we got the whole store cleaned up with the support of Adcock Ingram and some others. Adcock got stock here very quickly for us. Other people chipped in, and we were up and running within 4 days. So that was quite amazing. In between the cleaning, we were serving customers however we could. There were bits and pieces of stock left behind. We were trading with no tills and no computers, but doing our best to help the community.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
We use the term front line quite loosely at the moment, but that literally was the front line doing a phenomenal job. We salute you in your efforts every day, not just during these insane times that you've experienced, but well done. We appreciate you.
So we want to keep it nice and healthy. We're chatting about COVID-19 information as well a little later, but I thought let's stop for a little bit of culinary excellence and, of course, a bit of immune-boosting spice.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover, timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
So, continuing our travels, this next recipe is inspired by the wonderful, authentic flavors of Thailand as we spruce up a hearty veg curry with all the goodness of good old soy milk. And we have one of our favorites. Actually, I think you're my favorite. Gabriela San Giorgio.
How are you, Carl?
I'm great.
Good.
So, Thailand, Thai food is always bright.
It's so good.
That's the word I would use for it. It's bright and spicy.
It is.
And I love I love lemongrass.
Lemongrass is delicious.
I love how that it's aromatic and beautiful. But take us through, because of course we're going to make this veggie.
Yes, we are. And the thing is, the nice thing is you can literally add what vegetables you like.
All right.
We obviously, as you said, made it all nice and colourful.
Yes.
So pretty much super simple. We've had some onions slow cooking over here. So just to kind of speed up the process.
And the slow cook of the onions, that's obviously going to sweeten it a lot more than just
yes, exactly.
browning, right?
So if you don't have time, you can just kind of speed cook them.
Okay.
But when you slow cook them, that sweetness kind of comes through, which is quite delicious.
Great. What you popping in there now? It looks
so
like
I've
a nice
got a nice green curry paste.
Nice.
Thai green curry paste.
And that's where the lemongrass is going to come through, and all the other ones, ginger, garlic.
So, yeah, so often like kind of a basic, if you kind of want to make your own, is lemongrass being a basic. Lots of ginger, often lime leaf if you can find it.
Yes.
Green chili, that's kind of your main ingredients, but coconut oil. That's kind of your usual spice mixes.
Okay, this is my favorite part. The smell that's permeating from the pot already.
So
it's like you finished the meal and you still have some time to go, which I appreciate.
Yes, I agree. So we're basically cooking this here. I'm going to put the heat a little bit lower because I'm going to add a little bit of chili now, but I'm also going to keep some just for garnish at the end.
Okay, that's perfect.
I prefer a little bit of heat, so I'm just adding some now.
Me too. I'm definitely a heat fan, but I do know that when you pop in the chilies a little earlier, I find that it almost tempers the heat of it a little bit.
It does. So actually, I once learned a really nice tip, which I'll tell you now, just so you know. We're popping in our butternut, which is our choice of veg today.
All right.
I've got some red pepper and I've got some Swiss chard. If you were using baby spinach, you can rather throw this in at the end, but obviously chard takes a little bit longer to cook.
Great. I think you're obviously using Swiss chard because you want the butternut that you put in there to cook down.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to overcook the spinach if you're going to do that a little too early. So Swiss chard is a perfect combination there.
So basically giving this a good stir. And now I'm going to add our Good Hope soy milk.
And this, what I love about the soy milk is that, I mean, it's naturally lactose-free. It's high in omega-3 as well. Yes. It's preservative-free too. All around healthy, which is so good.
So yeah, so we're going to add about 2 cups here. So
and of course, protein.
That's and your protein, which is amazing.
That's it. If you're eating the chumchana, you got a bit of protein in there, a bit of veg curry protein. That's right.
So I've thrown about 2 cups in there. It was great.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give this a little stir.
Yes.
And now I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning. So I've got some salt and black pepper. And essentially what we're going to do now is we are going to bring this to the boil.
All right.
And then I'm going to reduce to a simmer. You're going to allow this to simmer essentially until your butternut is cooked to your liking. I mean, I prefer it a little bit al dente, so not too soft.
You want a bit of texture, don't you?
Want a bit of texture.
Because sometimes if you do cook it down, you are going to have a bit more of a, I'm going to call it a mushy consistency with your meal, but you want to taste each element.
Yeah, you want to. I mean, you put
do.
these beautiful vegetables in, you might as well enjoy the crunch factor. And then essentially right until these are basically ready, you're going to throw in your sugar snap peas, your baby corn, and some coriander, because that cooks obviously very quickly, and then you serve.
And that's a key chef's tip over there, because, you know, vegetables cook at different times. So your butternut's obviously going to have some time within the soy milk cooking down, but these ones are going to add that fresh crunch at the end, which is going to be great.
Exactly. Oh, but I want to tell you a little tip about chili.
Please
for anyone that doesn't want too much heat.
Yes.
It's basically you take your chili. It was actually a Jamie Oliver tip, so I can't claim it.
Oh, Jamie Oliver. I love Jamie. He's really great. Yeah.
I actually met him once. I was
Did you? What?
Oh my gosh, no, it was crazy.
Fangirling.
I was 14 and I didn't know what to do with myself. Anyways, so basically you take the chili and all you do is you slice it lengthways and you don't chop it and you just pop it in your dish. So it's not getting any of the seeds directly in it, but it's permeating that taste and the spice without over spicing it.
Yeah, I get you, because obviously if you're going to break those seeds, the capsaicin levels are going to be...
It's a good word for the day.
You're welcome. I'm full of big words today. What's wrong with me? But thank you so much for the recipe. Of course, Gabriella and I, we've gone to the website and we've got all of this down on one recipe, expressoshow.com. So go give it a try. It's going to be great. Like Jamie Oliver says, put it in the gob, healthy, enjoy.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day.
Becoming a parent fills you with delight, nerves, and questions. Now, an original South African app has the answers. Whether you're expecting your bundle of joy or raising a preschooler, the Purity Journey Journal app is a breeze to use. Sign up for free and choose from a host of features, including 24/7 medical assistance, expert tips, and milestone tracker. Sign up to the Purity Journey Journal app for whenever you need some guidance along your parenting journey.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yep, we're back on the couch with Dr. Emile Reid. We're talking about vaccinations, the possible side effects, those that are more on the extreme side, those long kind of term effects possibly, and those that the press has latched onto and fake news has blown out of proportion. Doc, thanks so much for joining us. Let's do a bit of a run through here. Let's start with I want to say the smaller side of that scale. What are some of the more minor side effects that you might experience? For instance, like a tenderness in the arm, which I certainly did feel.
Exactly. And I think the most important thing, Graham, is that when you do have mild side effects, it means something. The jab works.
It's working.
And when it comes, for instance, to something like the Pfizer jab, that we have 2 jabs 6 weeks apart. The first jab usually as what we call a primer, and the second jab as a booster. So the first one just sort of make your immune system understand what's happening, and the second one is really boosting your immune system.
Right.
And elicit that response that we need to protect ourselves against possible infection. So number one, the first side effects, normally we have painful arm, as you said. Some people on the day might feel lethargic, they feel tired, they have a headache. Some people actually complain of weird or vivid dreams the first day after they had the vaccine, and that usually just mean that your vaccine is working, and usually that will last around about 24 to 48 hours. And if you have pain or fever or muscle aches or headache, just use paracetamol, drink a lot of water, and just relax.
Okay. Let's talk about the more extreme stuff, because, and we started reporting on this when the vaccination wave first started emerging globally, the more extreme side of things like blood clots, for instance. Talk me through what are the big fears when it comes to the vaccinations, and what are reasonable fears, and put it into context for us if you can.
So what's the first thing that bothers me about our vaccination drive currently in South Africa? We are vaccinating people during a pandemic. So that's probably the worst thing you can do. So whatever we put in people's arms currently will only help us when the fourth wave arrive. So it's not going to help us to get through this.
As we're seeing with the elderly population now.
Exactly. And the most important thing is to distinguish between, am I developing COVID or do I have side effects of the jab? Okay. So usually where the side effects will just disappear after 24 hours, if you have COVID, the symptoms and signs will continue after 3 to 5 days. Okay. And because there's a likelihood that you already have the virus inside of you and you were already infected by the time you received the jab, you need to see your general practitioner and ask him to do a test. So the vaccine didn't cause that infection, you were already infected.
The virus was there.
Then when it comes to particularly the Pfizer jab, and we have seen internationally that in young people, age 12 to 29, they found after the second jab, they developed something we call a myocarditis or a pericarditis, which means that there is inflammation in the heart muscle or inflammation of the membrane surrounding your heart. Okay. So that is very, very rare, usually in males more than females, aged between 12 and 29, and it was described in about 40 out of 1 million cases.
40 out of a million?
A million.
Okay.
Very mild, usually gets better on its own, presents with shortness of breath, chest pain, increase inflammatory markers, and usually respond to conventional treatment of the fever, inflammation, pain, etc., with rest. Okay. Usually that sort of gets better. With the Johnson & Johnson, you remember that there was about a 2-week pause on the Johnson & Johnson jab. And the reason for that was that it was found in ladies more than gentlemen, thrombosis, an illness caused TTP or TTS, which means thrombotic, meaning clot formation. Second T, thrombocytopenic, which means a very low platelet count, which means you can bleed as well. Okay. And purpura, P, which means that you develop a specific type of rash associated with the low platelet counts and also with the thrombosis. And that was described in ladies between the age of 18 and 48. And how they presented was either swollen calves, swollen legs, painful, red, warm, or they developed severe headaches that didn't respond to conventional treatment, which meant that they have a cerebral or brain thrombosis causing that headache. Other people develop abdominal pain, where they have severe thrombosis of their massive blood vessels called the inferior vena cava. And the important thing is that was described in round about 6 out of every million cases. that were found.
6 out of a million.
And the majority of those people also had other conditions that predisposed them to develop these complications.
Okay, 6 out of a million. So if you're worried about blood clots as a possible side effect, just take that on board. Dr. Emil Reid, we're going to see if we can sneak in one more chat with you, but we have been talking about the vaccine and why it is so important to get vaccinated now that we are opening that up. I've done it, Doc's done it, so many people I know have done it with minor side effects. The opportunity is there, go and embrace it.
The only side effect of this show is entertainment. I'm going to bring you some more of that. This guy's been lighting up the stage all morning and he's back for another performance, this time his own song. This is Best Life from our guest, Craig Jordaan.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This one is entitled Best Life. You gotta live your best life in 2021. Hey. Different days, same old problems. Thinking of many ways to solve it. I am more than what you see. I give you a brand new me, something I never thought I'd be. This became a fascination, living out my imagination. Yes, I'm smiling, no more crying. I give you a brand new me, something I never thought I'd be. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm living my best life. I won't stop till I get to the top. I'm living my best life. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm living my best life. With a brand new me, something I never thought I'd be. I'm living my best life. Hey, hey. Out this way, yeah. It finally means no more hiding. I did my best, no more thinking less. I give you a brand new me, something I never thought I'll be. Hey, shit. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm living my best life. I won't stop till I get to the top. I'm living my best life. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm living my best life with a brand new me, something I never thought I'd be. Now listen, too many people try to keep me alive, but I'm gonna live my life the way I want. So goodbye to the old me. My best life. I won't stop till I get to the top. What? I'm living my best life. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm living my best life. You hope brand new me, something I never thought I'll be. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm what? I'm living my best life. I won't stop till I get to the top. I'm living my best life. I told everybody that I wouldn't stop. I'm living my best life. A brand new me, something I never thought I'd be. I'm living my best life, best life. Yes! Yes! Make my day.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Tissue Oil and Rich Body Care range for 48-hour rich moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we wrap up our health discussion this morning with our infectious diseases specialist and good friend, Dr. Emil Reid. Still with us, we've been chatting about vaccinations. We've established that the risks are far outweighed by the benefits. We've seen it proven with our elderly population, how the vaccinations have helped them, looking at the current numbers. You're in it, man. You're in the fire. You're working in this space day and night, literally, for the last few weeks. Now, what is your final piece of advice for anyone who is weighing up, who is still considering not taking the vaccine?
Graham, I think number one, vaccines are not perfect, you know, and the vaccines we currently have for COVID-19 is not perfect at all. The most important thing that we need to do, number one, weigh up risk versus benefits. Number two, there will always be anti-vaxxers. That's good.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those that are still hesitant whether to take the vaccine or not, we are actually speaking to them.
Yeah.
And number three, people need to be reminded that our only way out of this dilemma we find ourselves in, with overcrowded hospitals, losing family members, losing loved ones, is to actually vaccinate.
You've got to do it, and you've got to do it now that has been opened up to so many more people. I don't know if you want to end off with just a warning to where people are at the moment, because I kind of feel like we might have tapped out a little bit to just how crazy is the situation on the ground floor at the moment.
Things are horrible. You know, for the last few decades that I've been a specialist in an ICU, in a high care setting, in infectious diseases, this is the worst I've ever seen. It's a massacre. We need to end this, and the only way to end it is to vaccinate.
You've got to go and get the jab. Dr. Emil, please stay safe, my friend. Keep doing the incredible work that you are doing along with everyone working on the front lines. Now that it is available to us and we have those structures in place, go out and get vaccinated if you can. Nice, super. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
To roll through, and this is exactly what we have for you now. And the thing is, if you see the effects of the vaccine, okay, we've actually just mentioned that now you're obviously seeing with your eyes. One thing that's good for the eyes is carrots. And that's why carrot cake works. In fact, the more carrot cake donuts you eat, the better your eyesight. Who knows? But this is exactly what we're doing with Gabriela San Giorgio, taking us through something that's really unique, because we're going to serve this with a refreshing glass of Crush 100% goodness. So, Gabriela, back again.
Yes.
Show us how quick and easy this can be, and I believe that this is a recipe that we can freeze afterwards as well.
You can freeze. So you can like make the donuts, you can pop them in the oven, and then pop them in the freezer.
All right.
Which is awesome. So we're going to speed do this here.
Yes, speed do this. Give me that 24-karat magic.
So, okay. So we've got some brown sugar over here.
Why brown sugar, not white sugar?
Because it's unbleached, so it just makes it seem like it's a little bit healthier.
Did you know that white sugar is the bleached version? Did you know? Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know that? Hey? You didn't know.
I mean, sugar is sugar, right? But I mean,
Yes.
whatever makes you feel a bit better about yourself.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we've also got our flour here.
What type of flour?
Regular cake flour.
Great.
Testing my knowledge this morning.
I am. I'm going to test you all the way through. I'm going to ask you where the carrots were from. Good luck. Right.
Okay.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yes, that's the one.
Thank you.
We've got some ginger.
Ginger powder.
We've got bicarbonate baking powder and
Great.
salt.
That's it, salt, and done and dusted. Look how quickly
Throw that in.
you do this so quickly. I like it. Let's keep it going.
Okay, so we're going to just kind of roughly, stir this together. Otherwise,
Right.
you're going to have a very inconsistent spice mix throughout your
Okay,
donuts.
so stirring dry ingredients. I notice that one is folding, the other one's whisking. If you do the dry
Well,
ingredients,
now we're
what
going to
do
be
you call it?
whisking. So here's our next bit. So we're going to be whisking our egg and our sugar.
That's it.
Until it's quite pale. So if you have a hand blender at home, that makes your life a lot easier. But it's cool. We're going to work the biceps this morning and
Go
just
for
kind
it.
of like do it until it's pale.
Okay, there's the wrist coming into play. It was biceps first, then wrist. I like it. It's also, as we mentioned earlier, it's a good workout, China, with the carrots.
Yeah.
Here we go. Keep it clapping. Keep it clapping. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. And then we've got our oil.
All right.
Oil of choice. You can use canola, coconut oil, whatever
that's
you
good.
have in your cupboard. We've got some vanilla over here.
Okay, and is that the vanilla essence extract?
This is essence, but
Okay,
if you
cool.
have extract, then that's always a winner. It's
Perfect.
just more like, fragrant.
And bougie.
And
Very bougie.
much so. We've obviously got our Clover Crush.
Yes,
orange
indeed.
and carrot juice.
And I like the combination of orange and carrot. I think it goes
I
so
do
well
like
together.
that.
And do you
Well,
not
the
feel like
vitamin
you feel healthier when you drink something with
feel
a vegetable
healthier.
and a juice? I just think it's
Yeah.
a healthy
Like I'm
connection.
drinking a
I love
vegetable.
it.
I'm doing well today.
You are. And look, you're whisking so well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's it. And then
And our last thing is our
Grated.
carrots, our grated carrots.
carrots. Now, Now, these are farmed. I'm just kidding. I would never ask. But they...
Yeah, please don't ask me.
They are free-range, gluten-free carrots. Thanks.
Yeah, they are gluten-free. The rest of this isn't. But FYI. I also just realized I threw the carrots in here, but technically what I should have done first is put the flour before the carrots. Folded that. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm just saying, if you want to be correct about it.
The great thing is that we have the recipe on expressoshow.com, which will give you all of those things that you... But I think for show, because obviously TV, you want to make it more entertaining.
Of course.
And I think that was the more entertaining route that you took there. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a little note on the crush that you put in here, because the thing is, if you don't have a crush in your life, maybe you should add juice. Crush is not only 100% fruity, tasty and refreshing, but it's also stacked with 100% goodness with crush. So it's something you can add to everything, smoothies and little juices you want to make, and of course baking. Come on.
And of course baking. So, as you can see, we've just folded. Now the next bit of that folding, as you mentioned earlier.
Yes, is the dry one is called the dry whisk, then the other whisking, and then now we're going folding. We're doing everything today.
We're doing everything today.
Okay.
So, simple. And now we've got our greased little donut.
These are very cute, actually.
We're going to spoon this in here, and we're going to pop them in the oven.
And so how long are we going to go for in the oven? Any idea there? Like maybe...
Probably around 15 to 20 minutes.
Great.
But again, it's so hard to say because ovens are so different. So if you've got like a fan function on your oven, sometimes goes a bit faster. Sometimes if you don't, then it's slower. So, I always say rule of thumb is, especially if it's a little size like this, check it after 15, 20 minutes. If it still seems a bit raw, keep it for longer.
And it also feels, I know donuts traditionally are not healthy per se, but the constituents of this one feels a little healthier.
Yes, because you're baking it. So it definitely feels a bit lighter.
I like it.
And what we have over here is a cream cheese icing. So simply cream cheese and icing sugar.
Great.
We're going to, again, fold in or whisk.
And that's...
So if you have a hand blender...
It'll be better.
I highly recommend that.
And then, of course, you want that cream cheese to be room temp so it's pliable and easier to roll with,
So the one thing I have noticed about cream cheese, it's such a usual icing that people use, but it splits really easily if you overheat it. So it's actually, in a way, a bit better for a home cook to do it like this. It takes longer.
So when it's dry like this, would you suggest, how would you loosen it up? Would you suggest maybe a little bit of heat, perhaps? Is that kind of a good idea?
I actually add a little bit of juice, so you can either add a bit of your clover crush or you could add some fresh lemon juice. But I mean, I think a little bit of this thing as we have it out.
Yes, we should
add
totally
some
do
extra
that.
Of this.
And this is how we're going to decorate these, and we're going to make it nice. So we could go piping bag with this. We could go rough with the spoon if you want to as well. And then we finish it off. You know what I love? I love pecan nuts. I love to
pecan
drop
nuts.
them
So
over.
good. Or some walnuts.
Walnuts.
Whatever you're feeling.
Pecan nuts. We go nuts for nuts. It's great. So we're going to decorate these. While we do that, thanks a lot for the recipe. It's so easy.
Pleasure.
It even feels healthy. Expressoshow.com. Grab that. I think it got me the appetite for singing for some reason. I feel like I need to sing. That's why karaoke is on the way. Stick around. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Oof.
Yes, bring the family. 100%. Your cousin's coming over. Get the crush and I'll get the ice.
The whole family. More Crush Mom, 100% refreshing, 100% goodness. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso and just in time for our Tuesday karaoke. Craig Jordaan, I don't know if you're ready for this, buddy.
I don't think so.
Do your friends let you, because you sing really, really well. You've got the most beautiful voice. Do your friends ever let you do karaoke?
Yes, I do karaoke all the time.
No, but I would not let him.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
No ways.
I'd let him. You must go get drinks.
See, I'm so bad.
Well,
My friends
yeah,
me do karaoke. They're like, oh, please, make him do it, okay? So we only one rule. Got to let it all go.
Yep.
Okay? Cool. Leave nothing on this dance floor.
I will also... Okay. Have you heard his falsetto?
No.
I'm telling you, he goes so high that I feel like a dog would appear.
You're going to see our dogs barking all in the area around us.
Yes.
So we're going to do this cold. There's no rehearsals. You just got to give it your all. You got to hit the people in the fields because that's what they want. And we're going to be embracing a little smash mouth this morning. This is incidentally one of my boys, my 4-year-old boy's favorite songs. So wherever you are, little man, this is for you, buddy.
Aww.
Mr. DJ, take it away.
I love Shrek.
Kevin told me,
world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Straight out the blocks there.
Looking kind of downward, the finger and her thumb in the shape of a L on her forehead.
Well, the
years are coming and it just stopped coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Makes not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb.
So much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with making the back streets?
Yes!
Never know if you don't go.
You never shine if you don't go. Yeah! Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is golden. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Nice.
Blazing this
thing colder, bundle up now and it's getting colder. That's your song, Graham.
Meteor makes back to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. Ice skating is getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. World's on fire, and how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Woo! It's quick out the gates, eh? Hits you, eh?
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars. Somebody once asked me, could I spend something? Yes, I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yes, kind of concept I could use a little myself. We could all use a little bit of karaoke change. You start coming and the days stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. To make sense, not to look fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb like us. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with this? Take it back to the streets. We can't take this back because we live. But then again, let's just drive. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting star. Break the mold.
Nice, nice.
That glitters is gold. Only shooting stars. Break the mold. Break the mold. Whoa, 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 whoa. Break the mold. Break the mold, baby. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank
This
you.
is why we're not invited to karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't stop the song.
How was it for you?
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yo, can I tell you, I've chased some things.
Yeah.
I've never chased lyrics like I did.
That was
song.
like it was like chasing when my
I felt like wait for Nikek, my brother.
Like, wow. And it's going that way, and then it's going this way, and then you turn around, and then it's gone over there. Wow, it was cathartic, but it was intense, man. I'm so glad you were here to share this experience with us.
Thank you so much. You'll never come back now, right? Okay.
Maybe we want to think about releasing this one.
When you say release, you mean release it to the dumpster?
Just let it go. Absolutely beautiful. You can let us know what you thought of that performance, along with all of our superstar performances on our Tuesday karaoke. I know it looks crazy, but it feels so good.
It does. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Culinary Hotline Bling's coming up for you tomorrow.
It is.
Yeah, and as well as so many other little tidbits that you're going to require. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolutely incredible show. Honestly, it's been wonderful.
Thank you to you, Craig. You've been amazing. You've got so much to look forward to in your future. We'll see you again bright and early tomorrow.
Go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Getting on. Go play. Yeah.
It was fun.
Here's to baking the winter blues away and trying new adventurous recipes to put the spring back in your step. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.